Hey everyone, welcome to the Buttercast here, number 3. And we have a special guest joining us here. We'll get to that in just a second. Normally I would put a butter joke here, but I'm all out of butter jokes because it's late. I'm tired. But we're going to have some fun here. So let's get to introductions before we get on to everything else. We'll go to the line here. We're going to start with Zen Gamer. Introduce yourself.
Hey people, what's going on? It's Zelda the Zen Gamer here, back again to talk some stuff with the cast and of course Mr. Butterworth. Hope you enjoy.
Alright, Cody Goff of Unqualified Gamers.
Yo, this is Cody from Unqualified Gamers. I'm the one on the right in the picture, in case you're wondering. We're the podcast where two guys with no business talking about video games, of course, talk about midget porn. So we're glad to be here. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I say that right? I think I said that wrong. No, we talk about video games, and I'm here, and John's not, but that's okay. So, hi.
Alright, up next we got Shadowfox.
Hey, this is Shadow Fox Infinite, the Road Ninja K9 Descent. Don't talk trash or I'll own you.
Alright, Rashidi Shepherd.
Hey, what's going on, people? It's the Good Shepherd, chilling, doing my thug dizzle. Looking forward to speak about some interesting video game topics.
Alright, Andre. Currently muted. Alright, we'll come back to Andre. Games Rosa, go at it.
Hey guys, Games Rosa, Mega Gamer Man, whatever you like to call me. Hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy this Buttercast. This is gonna be a great episode. Let's get started.
Alright, great energy games. And the man of the hour that we're featuring here, of course, the illustrious Triforce Johnson.
Hey everybody, this is Triforce from Empire Arcadia. Huge Nintendo fan. Thank you guys for having me on. I hope this is going to be a great topics to talk about, and I guess let's get to it.
Alright, and as always, of course, we, first and foremost, I just had it here pulled up on my phone here, but everything went haywire. Alright, we need to have a moment of silence here. Alright, so Shuhei Yoshida has pretty much stated that they're not going to be bringing any more first-party titles to the Vita. Or should they say fewer, and by fewer he means pretty much none, considering they was barely getting any beforehand. We've got a topic to piggyback off of this, which is of course going to roll into Nintendo, because I've been thinking about segues, because that's how I roll. So the first person that wants to discuss the short lifespan of the Vita, or wherever the hell it's going from here, Games Rosa, let's throw it over to him.
Alright, well, sorry for the little vacuum noise in the back, but it shouldn't be much of a bother. But, anyway, it seems like the Vita just couldn't find its way to its mother. It seems like it has lost its way in the deep jungle. And I mean that because of the fact that, okay, why are you gonna launch a handheld, system, a system of your own, and not support it? Like, it makes no sense to not support something that you brought out there in the market. And it's just like saying, oh, I'm gonna, it's like saying, hey, I work at Burger King. I own Burger King, but we're not gonna sell burgers. Like, okay. I mean, literally, it's why do you have the idea? Why does Sony have the intention to be like, okay, well, it seems like it's not doing that well, so yeah, we just give up on it. No, if you have a handheld of your own or a console or any product in general, you have to keep going with it.
Right. So basically, you're kind of likening it to opening a Burger King and having Subway cater to the joint.
Yep.
Alright, anyone else have anything to add? Because I expected this to go a little bit longer on the Vita subject.
Well, I'm a little bit disappointed because to me, I thought the Vita could have been an answer to mobile phones and things like that with regards to the difference in horsepower with it being having a dedicated GPU versus the phones that are more kind of like a integrated type of set. That could have been the one thing they could have used to differentiate themselves from the phone and kind of try to point that out in a few ads here and there, but they didn't try to do that at all. and they didn't really bring any software that. Well, there are a couple of first party titles, but not that many that pointed out the fact that hey, this is a different system from a PS3 or a PS4. Um, Basically, their first party titles from the PS3 they put on the Vita, and that was the same problem they had with the PSP and the PS3. So I really, it seems like they didn't learn their lesson. So the 3DS survives because of content and because the content is different from that of any other console. So that's where their bread and butter is made. I just
Uh,
why
to
wouldn't you
also,
do that with more powerful hardware?
may I chime in for a
Yeah,
second
have at it.
on that? The Vita, in terms of their handheld console, is a reflection of what happens when an actual console does not have first party to back it up and it depends solely on the third parties. The reason for the success of the Nintendo 3DS is because the Nintendo 3DS does not need the third party to support it. And in terms of an unsaturated market of the handheld industry, it forces the third party to throw their games on the console because the console is going to sell because Nintendo's first party games pushes it. Much like what happens in the Nintendo Wii era when the Nintendo Wii had Nintendo supporting all of its games with its main first party titles, and when the third party saw that, they decided to say, hey, you know something, let's drown the Wii with our games, although they never really drowned it with any of the significant games that really deserve to be on the Wii, but whatever. People are going to say, oh well, the reason why they didn't make anything for the Nintendo Wii significant is because the system power wasn't this, that, and the other. Well, if that's the case, then explain what's going on with the 3DS versus the Vita. The Vita clearly is a superior machine to the 3DS in terms of power. But look what's going on. The difference is that there aren't 3 or 4 systems out there. It's a direct competition. And Nintendo has Pokemon, Nintendo has Mario, Nintendo has Zelda, Nintendo has Metroid, Nintendo has Fire Emblem, and all these other games. And unfortunately, that is where everyone who has a handheld, for the most part, is a general audience, not just children, everybody. And when you look at the 3DS, in what the content Nintendo can provide it, it only makes sense to put your games on it. In the console era, well, in the console industry, the home console industry, this hypocrisy is most evident because Nintendo clearly has the games first party that's supporting it, and it doesn't need third party help. And you would think that the third party would say, okay, you know something, let's put some of these games on the Nintendo's systems and whatnot, but they don't want to do that, and this is why you see such a dry spell in games on the between the 3 consoles. Nintendo literally survived their entire E3 on one game. One game held up the entire Nintendo brand, where the rest of these guys completely failed, and they had the entire industry to say to help them, which is like that doesn't even make any sense. That's why when some people speculate another crash in the video game industry, it's very possible to happen. But the
It's
difference
imminent.
is, yeah, well, the reason why it's not imminent is because the crash will not kill the industry. The crash will just kill the competition in the industry.
It's
There
going to
is a
change the third
foundation.
party
The
outlook.
the foundation of the industry will just fall on top of Nintendo, and Nintendo's pillars are so strong. When that fake foundation gives in and it all falls down, Nintendo can hold it up with one arm, and it's not going to mean anything. And people can try to deny it all they want, but the 3DS and the Vita is an indication of literally what is going to happen. Third party is going to say, listen, guys, we understand your hardware is so strong and whatnot, but your sales are dependent on us, but we're depending on you. You see the problem here? The third party industry is depending on them to create content that's going to push their system until third party is ready to make their games to put it on their system. But if they don't have any real first party or second party content that's going to push their own system, then third party sitting there waiting. And it's like, we need you guys to move systems. You can't be depending on us to always move systems. And if you're going to depend on us to move systems, we're going to want more of the royalty. Then the first party company is going to be like, no. Then they're going to be like, well, then we're just going to go to the competition. Nintendo's like, listen, whether you want to make games for us or not, we really don't care. We're going to drop our jewels. People's gonna like it. People's gonna buy the systems, and that's about it. When you realize this and you're willing to come and work with us, let us know. If you work with us now, it'll be cheaper. You work with us later, it's gonna be more expensive. And this is why Nintendo constantly is on their Godfather gangster rule of the industry. It's a joke for them, and that's when you see the Vita. The Vita was doomed a long time ago because what does Sony have to hold up the Vita? God of War. That's one intellect, and I'm not saying God of War sucks. I'm saying God of War is godlike. But what I'm saying is it's just God of War by itself. I'm sorry, Drake and his nice little adventures. No, that's not good enough. And then when you really think about it, what are some of the other some of the other like first party titles that you know that will move any Sony system, home console or handheld?
It's all third party stuff.
Exactly. So the imminent fallout of the three. This is why dudes is now creating Steams and clouds and all of that stuff. These guys are just gonna go virtual and they're gonna change the entire infrastructure of their first party stuff. Nintendo's gonna be the only person that's gonna stick to the gaming roots, and everyone's gonna say Nintendo's not with the times. That the industry is changing. No, the false industry is changing, and everyone wants Nintendo to follow suit. Nintendo is the industry. When they change, everyone else changes. That's the reality. It's been that way for 30 years. When they set the tone, not everyone else. People want Nintendo to give up their role as the leader of the industry and follow suit with everyone else, which the day Nintendo does that is the day Nintendo dies. A prime example of that was Sega. Sega was one of the forerunners in the industry, and they changed. They went away from what they did to try to follow the industry, and they got murdered. They got killed for doing that. And this is why Nintendo's in there, and Nintendo laughs because Nintendo's like, we are going to do what we are going to do, and you are going to like it. And that is that.
Yeah, Nintendo's suddenly, behind the times, and they're not making mature games. Then Splatoon gets way more coverage than any Call of Duty game at E3.
Because you see, it's new, it's innovative, it's pretty much something people have never seen before. Call of Duty is Call of Duty.
Exactly.
But wait, Nintendo doesn't make new IPs. What are you guys talking
right. I keep forgetting that. Sorry.
God.
It's not like, they had Dylan's Rolling Western, Pushmo. Those things are not new IPs. Those things have been used for years.
They don't matter, man. They just don't matter. Get with the times. They don't matter.
And here's the thing, and this is going to roll in topic number 2, off the back end of that. Because with the Vita going down in flames, Ubisoft is still supporting it. Yet Ubisoft has admitted to holding on to completed Wii U titles in anticipation of the install base eventually increasing, even though it has a higher install base than the Xbox One, and they're not holding on to any titles for that, and, well, they're not holding on to any Vita titles either. So, what's the deal with Ubisoft? In addition to all the other things they've screwed up on lately, like the whole Watch Dogs things, actually stripping down features, or should I say leaving them in the data for hackers to go in and turn on to improve the graphics on PC. So basically the game shipped to make the consoles look better. And then, of course, omitting any sort of a minority assassin in the new Assassin's Creed, like a female, which I would like to remind people that the most famous assassin during the French Revolution was a female. But anyway, let's stick to the Nintendo portion, because Ubisoft is on my shit list officially now. So, Ubisoft, holding on to games. Let's go. Somebody wanted this one. Who wanted this one?
Ooh.
I'll take it.
All right, go for it, man.
Ubisoft. You see, I was one of the people, championing this company when they seemingly were the only third party sticking by the Wii U during those unsure moments when just about everyone had turned their back on it in terms of third party. But it seems now we are seeing the birth of EA 2.0, because some of the things that they're coming up with, I just can't believe that people actually say this and expect gamers, consumers, whoever to believe them. Okay, so you're telling me that you have finished games ready to go on the Wii U, for the Wii U, and you refuse to put them out because the install base is not right. This is what you say. Yet at the same time, your support of the Xbox One of the Microsoft platform remains pretty much unaffected. It goes forward no matter what, and you have nary a single negative thing to say about that side of the gaming community in terms of consoles. My question here is, why the hypocrisy? This is not the only thing, the only system that you seem to be ignoring, turning a blind eye to in terms of, its install base. You continue supporting the Vita, putting everything on the Vita. We just talked about the fate and outlook of the Vita, which isn't necessarily bright. So I don't seem to understand what Guillermo, that's the CEO, he just rehashes the same statements again and again, making the same nonsensical statements. So you're bringing Watch Dogs, you're bringing Just Dance. Keep in mind, though, Watch Dogs is late. And while I have my thoughts on that, I've already put those out in the public for you, for you guys to see. I am still very hesitant about that game due to the fact that it, according to those who played it, according to, player testimony, it isn't exactly very good. It's more like a modern Assassin's Creed, just with a more empty world, and that doesn't sound good to me at all. So you're gonna bring this later on. You're probably not going to utilize the Wii U gamepad, and you're just gonna ship it off late. Might I add, late ports. And then when it sells poorly, because more than likely it will sell poorly, you're gonna blame it on the fans. You're gonna blame it on Nintendo. You're gonna say it didn't sell well, and you're going to use this as an excuse going forward as to why your other games are not coming to the console. When the excuses you're using right now, as invalid as they currently are, run out and are no longer relevant, you're going to have this now to fall back on, because that's what these third parties tend to do, and this is what Ubisoft is doing right now. They're making excuses for the future. They're putting aside excuses for when they will need them. Excuse manufacturing, pretty much, because it simply does not make any sense. Guillermo himself went on record to say, and I quote, "With Mario Kart, Wii U made one step, and we expect Smash Brothers, with Smash Brothers, it'll do more. If Nintendo put the right price in the machine, then they would probably have a chance to do further." What the hell do you mean by right price? That statement alone is mind-blowing in terms of sheer stupidity and the short-sightedness concerning, the Wii U's price. This machine has had a price drop already. It comes with a game in most cases. Most recently, Mario Kart 8 was bundled with extra peripherals and other little things that you would want, which comes with a free game. But this isn't advertisement. I'm just using it as a statement in terms of how nonsensical the statement is. It is $2.99. $2.99. Comes with everything that the launch system came with, plus more. Nothing was taken out in the case of the Xbox One, where the Kinect was taken out in order to give it a price drop. Everything was kept in, and the price was dropped. So I don't understand. More was put in, and the price was dropped. So what do you mean by the right price? $250? $199? That doesn't make any sense at all. Comparing it to the things that you are supporting, and they're not even selling. So what excuse is this? So he goes on to say, and I quote, "We are coming with Watch Dogs and Just Dance this year. We also have another game on the shelves that we expect to come at some point when there will be more machines." First up, what game is this? Because this better not be something like Division or something like that, already. Highly doubt it is. And it's some other Rayman, because I just don't want to see Rayman again. I don't, after what you did previously. But I personally, I waited until there was bargain bin cheap, and then I bought it, because I felt like I needed to make a statement, and I don't support bullshit. I'm sorry.
Zombie Definitive Edition? Sorry.
Oh, no, man, don't even bring that up, man. Don't even bring that up. Looking back now, I see it. I wasn't seeing it before, and I was blind, and I will openly admit that. But looking back now, Ubisoft has shortchanged the Nintendo support at every given opportunity. They made a mess of Zombie U, a game which was creative, at least, but was intended to be a lot better. Should have been a lot better, but they just didn't care enough. Then we got the whole Rayman Legends debacle. No need to repeat what happened there. Again, more favor to the Xbox side of things, shortchanging the Wii U in the process. Then we have Splinter Cell Blacklist with its crap online, which still is crap by some reports, if I remember correctly. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. And the no local online thing. Um, just total nonsense. Then we have Assassin's Creed. We have Assassin's Creed, the whore, or should I say the upcoming whore of the video game industry, and that's not coming to the Wii U. Are you serious? Are you freaking serious? Neither one. Not the one you have in the last generation consoles. Not the one you made for the quote unquote next generation consoles. Neither one, Comet or Unity, is coming to the Wii U, and you have yet the reason why. And even if you did, frankly, I wouldn't even want to listen because, Guillermo, dude, you're an idiot. The the movers and shakers over there at Ubisoft, I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know what numbers they have to support this behavior, but basically the way I see it, it is utter and complete bullshit. And as Butterworthy said, they are now firmly on my shit list, joining EA and most recently WB.
Okay, so let's go ahead and break it down then, right? So the main reason that you want to have quote unquote say better, you want a larger install base is because eventually you want to be able to sell your game well. That's the idea.
Right.
That's what we would imagine, right? Okay, so we have a platform that has 8 million, well, let's put it 7 million units out there, right? And you sell to it along with 50 million other platforms out here, right? You sell to it on weekend with a lot of hype, a lot of advertising, blah, 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 specifically for the PlayStation 4. This game comes out and it sells close to, I don't know, around 1.8 million when it's all said and done, a couple of days before Mario Kart 8 came out. So Mario Kart 8 comes out on literally the 2-3 days after Watch Dogs on one platform,
and
it does 600,000 less than that. It does 600,000 less than that with a much smaller marketing campaign because I don't recall TV being plastered with Mario Kart ads for the last 6 months. I don't recall it having ads all over the internet 24/7 for the last 6 months. The game just came out. There were ads after the game came out, and that was that. I mean, there was a Nintendo Direct for the game out of nowhere. Like, what was it, the middle of May sometime or something like that? And that was the only type of real push Nintendo put out for this game. But it still did the exact same thing. So it is possible for a game that sells very well to deal with the quote-unquote small install base of 6.2 million and still come out very successful. You could still sell over 1 million copies in less than 3 days and continue to sell after that because we know Mario Kart is going to continue to sell, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the third-party games that fall off the face of the map. Just look at Watch Dogs' recent sales and you'll see that. But
now, just to build on your point that you're trying to make there, just to address some of the defenders of what Guillermo has said here, they're saying Nintendo fans don't buy third-party games, and so therefore, this is the rebuttal, this is the reaction. Now, to that, I have to say, perhaps, but you see, the thing is, it's a double-edged knife. When we buy, we get shit treatment. When we don't buy, shit treatment, and if it's one thing I must say about the Nintendo fan base, at large, in general, we are one of the smartest fan bases out there. If we simply don't buy games based on principle alone. Whether you view that as being right or wrong, that's up to you. That's your personal opinion. But the way I see it, that's simply being a smart consumer and not being it's pretty much an idiot and being taken advantage of by these companies that don't care about you but your money.
Well, even then, that's broken logic because the Wii was the console that quote unquote was full of shovelware, right?
Right.
Yet there are more AAA. Well, I won't say AAA. There are more. I want to say A and double A attempts on Wii, right? So you have things like Dead Space Extraction and stuff like that, right? So you have games like that came out and they'll sell 1 million copies on Wii. Yet the development cost is way lower. You're not developing in HD or anything like that, and you still get well more than your return on your investment. And there are more of those type games selling on the Wii versus the other consoles where 1 or 2 games sells 4 to 8 million copies and then it never sells again for the rest of the year.
Well, wait a second.
And then all the other games don't sell at all either.
wait a second. Talking about repurposing for Wii U, my understanding was that the Wii U developing games for the Wii U runs on like a PowerPC engine, and Sony and Microsoft runs on a different one. So it's like building a game on a totally different engine. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that.
It depends. Because it depends on what you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about the graphics engine, then the Wii U is actually closer to the Xbox One. Now, if you're talking about things like the actual game code, the main game code, and things like that, things that are going to be running as far as CPU tasking, like physics and stuff like that, then yes, the Wii is going to run big Indian code, and the other consoles are going to run little Indian code because they're CISC processors and not RISC. So on the Wii.
So, yes, well, but you just said a second ago, and I just wanted to, like, just kind of a point of order kind of thing, like, because you mentioned, like, it may not necessarily be a ton of development costs to put it on the Wii U, but if you're talking about, like, recoding an entire, like, whether it's the physics engine or the graphics or anything like that, and I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit, like, I still think Ubisoft sitting on, like, finished games is ridiculous a little bit, but I think in some cases it kind of makes sense, and, you know, like, you look at games like Arkham City, right? And like the definitive Arkham City was on Wii U, and that's the one that was probably like the best by far. And I know it came out a year after the other ones, but the sales on the PS3 and 360, it sold almost 5 million copies on both of those consoles, and it sold 0.2 million on the Wii U. So like that's not a really good return on investment if they had to put a lot of costs in that. And I'm actually thinking maybe that's why Ubisoft isn't jumping on Watch Dogs. Not because people wouldn't buy it on the Wii U, but maybe they've done market research and it's not necessarily the same demographic. You know,
okay. I got a rebuttal for that.
I understand it. It makes sense, but the whole thing is that this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So sometimes you got to put a certain amount of investment to get the ball rolling. You can't just put a small amount and expect a large return.
Hold on.
Darn it!
Let me get a word in because my computer screwed up on me and didn't want to let me like introduce myself or say anything. I couldn't hear anything for a while, so I apologize to people for that. My little picture's been sitting there forever, but I have a bit of a rebuttal to what Cody was saying, and that is the deal with Zombie U. Currently at Global, I'm just using VG charts to reference. I know it's not exactly the most accurate thing, but Zombie U is sitting at 0.69 million on VG charts. Now, what game was it that was supposed to be exclusive to Wii U that ended up going multi-plat?
Legend something. I can't remember the name of it though.
It was a very iconic character that everybody.
His name was like
Mannery? No.
No. It was a guy. It was a dude.
Okay. Rayman Legends across 6 platforms has only done 1.26 million globally. So putting it across 6 platforms, you are only barely able to double what Zombie U did on 1. And this is Ubisoft. The development cost on Rayman Legends to be put across 7 platforms, I'm pretty sure, was much more than putting Zombie U on 1. And then you think about the fact, what's up, Triforce? Think about the fact that also Ubisoft was talking about install bases. What device has the biggest install base at current?
Oh, I'm not arguing about that at all. I mean,
I know, but
like I said, that's a separate issue. And at the same time, the Rayman thing was maybe they looked at it and said, "Hey, this is kind of like we can't do this again." You know, maybe they lost money on Rayman, and that's part of why they're more cautious about it. I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit. Like I that refuses to believe that a company will just do something like really dumb and be like just blatantly stupid. I think they're not being smart right now. I don't think they're being smart particularly. But like, you want to know?
Well, we gotta look at.
Hang on, before you go forward, man. I don't want to disrespect you in any way, but how long have you been in this industry? How long have you been? How long have you been witnessing what's been going on, man? Just asking, simple question.
I'm an unqualified gamer. Unqualified gamer. It's no disrespect.
All right.
You want to know something though? I just want to bring this out already. All right. So the thing is, the reason. Oh wow, I said reason.
Okay, Elmer Fudd.
All right.
Elmer Fudd.
the reason why they think it's just like, all right, the game's not going to sell. All right, look, this is the numbers that we got in. The game's not selling. Screw this console. But the thing that they don't know is, you don't know if people don't like your game. They don't have to like your franchise. They don't have to like Assassin's Creed. They don't have to like Watch Dogs. They don't have to like Splinter Cell. They don't have to like any of that. People only buy what they like, especially when it comes towards games, right? You buy what you like. You get whatever title you like. Yet, of course, they use the same old. They go right back to the excuse vending machine and get a new excuse to basically say, oh, well, this is the reason why we can't put it on this system. Like, no. It's just because people have different tastes, and people don't really want to buy your game because of that reason. It's just really like they just don't understand that through their heads, apparently, but I think they do. But they, of course, they're excuse vendor. So they just... Yeah.
Games, man. You see, the thing is with these people that sends me crazy, okay? How many Nintendo gamers who own the Wii U, or whatever console it happens to be at the time, that we're just making a general statement here, when they find out these games are either not coming to their console of choice, the one that they have, and is instead coming to everything else, how many of them are going to go on to buy it on those other consoles? That is my main question. You see, if you would, the unfair treatment starts from way before the game actually releases, back to when the game is announced. If you give every platform the same treatment and courtesies that you give every other platform, okay, well, this is coming out worldwide, XYZ date for this system, and this system, and then it have people hanging like, okay, what's up? And then weeks later, months later, oh, well, it's coming to that too. By which time, people have already made their decision. Because if it's coming, you've already shown your general attitude towards the platform. Okay, I'm not going to buy some GIMP thing. This is going to turn out GIMPed. Or based on previous standard set, I know something's going to be wrong with this game. So I'm going to err on the side of safety, and I'm going to buy it on the console I know they care about for sure. Okay? Second point I want to make.
Well, here's the other thing too. So Cody, you made the pretty good, I want to say almost good devil's advocate point about Warner Brothers, right? So they made this game, and they, I guess you could say, hyped it in 2011 as far as it being the launch game, AAA game of choice for the Wii U, right? Okay, how old was that game by the time Wii U launched?
Oh yeah, no, and I mentioned
in addition to that, how much in advertising dollars, and how long was the advertising campaign for this game versus when it was originally announced for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3? Now, if they aren't equal, then we can't really compare those numbers.
Oh no, like I said, I still think Watch Dogs should be out on the Wii U, and the only reason I really am playing devil's advocate at all is because you guys are all really smart, and maybe one of you guys like saw an article that I didn't, or like I'm throwing like thoughts out there, so one of you all can just be like, well, actually, here's why you're wrong, and that helps me understand it better. Like I'm not arguing for I'm not. I've never even played an Assassin's Creed game. I'm not like an Ubisoft hardcore guy at all. I just, from a business standpoint, like, I work at a marketing agency. We've got some big clients, and I see how some companies, some bigger like brands and things, not video games, but other big brands, how they operate and how like weird stuff happens for bizarre, arbitrary reasons sometimes. And I'm just trying to make sense of it because it's a curiosity when we're all sitting here scratching our heads why a company is sitting on a stack or a finished game for a console with millions of units, and they're not shipping it out. Like, I'm trying to figure it out.
No. Well, but you know what, though? You know what, though?
Mega Man Legends 3.
I'm going to tell you why I understand you. This is why I understand you, right? So, I agree, because on the marketing end, if I was an investor, right, or if I was a lawyer for a financial firm or anything of that nature, right, I would never, ever, in a million years, ever tell somebody to invest in Nintendo. Why? Because they are mavericks. They are completely
unpredictable,
unstable.
They do things by their own
you never know what they're going to do.
It's
You
true.
never know. I put it this way.
I'm gonna push the bricks on this one.
Look, they make money, but
Stop.
you never know what they're going to do.
The car. Stop the car. We have
Everybody out.
children in the back. Seatbelts are not buckled. We need to address this situation.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
First of all, Nintendo is not a Maverick company. It's all, I guess you would have to say, it's all a point of view. And I'm going to tell you my point of view why Nintendo is not a Maverick company.
I think I know where you're going, but go ahead.
Nintendo is actually the company that's going by what the structure of the industry is. No offense, but Sony and Microsoft are the Mavericks, and I'll
Got
explain
you.
why.
I got you.
The video game industry, it is different from a software, an electronic giant, and a software application giant. When you look at what Microsoft and Sony introduces, they try to introduce social technology into gaming. That is Maverick, because that has nothing to do with gaming. Gaming is gaming. And if you look at what Nintendo does, everyone accuses Nintendo of regurgitating the same thing. But when isn't that the point of staying within the confines of their industry? The only thing Nintendo innovates is how you play your games. But they still focus on games. The other two don't focus on how you play your games. They focus on all the things you can do around your video games, such as Skype, YouTube, turning on your car, cooking your eggs, washing your clothes, vacuuming your living room, and turning on your DPRs and spying on other countries and all types of other stuff. That has nothing to do with video games. Giving you hardware technology that we never use at its maximum. In fact, the NES was the first system to ever be fully used ever 100%. All these other systems still have not been maxed out, yet they are making these overpowered machines that we never get to use. So if anyone who's keeping it real, and if an investor is a fool, yes, I'm calling you investors out there fools, because you can look at Nintendo's track record. And if you look at Nintendo's track record, only a maverick would go against investing into Nintendo.
Because they're
When you
always
look at-
profitable.
Not just always profitable, but if you look at what they do what is within the confines of what they're supposed to do. You know what to expect from Nintendo. If I'm a gambling man, okay, Nintendo's coming out with a new system, yeah, should we invest in it? Well, one thing's for sure, whether or not the industry wants to support them with their third party, we know Mario's going to be successful. We know Zelda's going to be successful. We know Star Fox's going to be successful, Pokemon, and all these other games. So for sure, a certain amount of systems are going to be sold. And from a business standpoint, it is up to you now to gauge what it's like spades. How many books you think you can get out of this, knowing that this is going to sell. But with the other two systems, you don't know. You don't know what they're going to sell. You don't know if tomorrow a third-party company can go, you know something, Call of Duty is going to be exclusive on the Xbox One. Done. Sony's finished. You know something, tomorrow we're going to close up Madden. We don't feel like doing this anymore. You don't know any of that. That's Maverick. That's crazy. That's betting into the unknown. But Nintendo is guaranteed. If we're playing spades and the next Nintendo system is 10 books, Nintendo will guarantee you 5. That's guaranteed.
So
But
Triforce, will you say that the investors themselves are the ones that are having the unreal expectations because they're betting on these other two individuals as if they're consumer electronics companies instead of video game creators?
Let me answer that directly. It's not that they have unrealistic expectations. They're being sold nonsense. You have to understand it. Sony and Microsoft is marketing to them a bunch of nonsense that has nothing to do with video games, telling them, well, you have to really look at this. With our new system, Xbox On, and all this other features and stuff like that, we'll be able to tap into the casual market that will be able to tap into this based on this age percentage and this, and these people play this and all of this other nonsense that some moron from Harvard who got a piece of paper who's never played a video game in his life is creating, and you're buying into it because you're just stupid. Like, and Nintendo's like, well, listen, I don't know what to tell you about the video game industry, but we know this. When we drop our Mario Kart, it's going to move. When we drop our Smash Brothers, it's going to move. When we drop our Zelda, it's going to move. So if you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. We really don't care. We just did an analysis, and we can lose $250 million and still be a functioning company until 2052. So if that's not good enough for you to invest in, then you can go shove it somewhere. And then they'll be like, well, you know, Microsoft, when it comes to technology, Microsoft is better than Nintendo, so it only makes sense. How does that make sense? Microsoft is not into a technology industry. Well, all right, video games is technology, but
No, they're software.
Yeah, well, but it's all technology. They're all relevant to technology. Video games, software application, consumer electronic. It's all technology. But the thing is, in the technology umbrella, they are in the video game industry, and they're being sold. These investors are being sold like these guys are the greatest drug dealers ever, because these guys, they want a certain drug and they're being sold a different drug, and like, what are you doing, and how did you get gassed into buying? Why am I even using drugs as a reference? But whatever, you get the point I'm trying to make. This is me growing up in the hood too long. But these guys are being sold they're being sold, false, Jordans, and they can't tell the difference. They don't know what they're doing, and they continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. How many times have Sony failed how many times has Sony failed in the handheld market? Yet every time Sony makes a new handheld, they sell the industry the same thing over and over. Like, we're now 4 for 4 in terms of failure, but out of 4 for 4 in terms of failure, an investor will come out and still invest in the next Sony system, and it's crazy. And Nintendo was like, wait, let me see something. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy DS, Nintendo 3. 5 for 5. Nintendo's 5 for 5, and the industry's still sitting there talking about, well, we want to give Sony a chance. What? Who does that? That's crazy.
The same people that said the GBA and the DS were going to be dead as soon as the PSP launched.
You know what that is? You know what that is to these investors out there? You know what that is? That is the absolute definition of madness. Banging your head against the wall and expecting a different result. Straight madness. All of those guys are supposed to be fired. Period. They could have saved them. They could have saved these companies so much money. You know how much money Kingdom Hearts would have made on the GameCube, on the Nintendo Wii, and on the Nintendo Wii U? Do you understand? So who is the idiot in marketing at Square Enix that's selling them this nonsense that it needs to go on PlayStation and the Xbox One? Who is
obviously,
the idiot? Sony
that's the idiot that told them that Nintendo was not good for Final Fantasy.
Look, man.
You know what's so stupid about that? This is the stupid part about it. Final Fantasy came from Nintendo. So how is anyone telling people it's not going to sell on Nintendo when it came from... Nintendo didn't make it, but Final Fantasy's...
If it wasn't for the NES, it wouldn't exist.
Same thing for Contra. Same thing for Castlevania.
There's a lot of franchises that happened with.
Yeah.
All these super third-party companies, all of these franchises, all got their start from Nintendo, and they're all struggling. Capcom is dying. Mega Man on on Smash Brothers Wii U is doing better than every other Mega Man in the last 10 years.
I know that feeling. I know that
I
feeling.
mean,
Trust me.
and he is a featured character. It's not even a full game of him. This
Hey,
right here,
Triforce, man, when you're talking about nonsense, you don't get much worse than Final Fantasy coming to Xbox One in Japan. Its predecessor, the 360, sold what, one
no, you
million in 8 years.
stop lying. Stop
I
lying.
want to I want to say this. I played Final Fantasy games, and I also played Kingdom Hearts. When they announced that it's also coming to Xbox One, I'm just like, okay, why not Wii U? And they still haven't given a reason for that. But Nomura, I know he's not really that. He's not like any other like all those other people that are like giving excuses. Like I think it's really Square Enix as a whole doing that. But why would either way in a whole? Why would Square Enix put Kingdom Hearts on Xbox? Because the thing is, now don't get me wrong. All right, Xbox is fine. Xbox is nice. I'm not going any bias here. I'm just saying the majority of Xbox players play only shooters and American RPGs like
Yes,
Skyrim and Fable.
but they put
Western software, period.
Mm-hmm.
but they put Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy on the Xbox. You know what it is? This is why when someone says, "Oh, Triforce, you just love," I'm hosting a conspiracy theory, and I'm like, it's not. It is now clear as day. The video game industry has a biasness towards Nintendo. They are just biased because that is the only explanation. Like
They never have the right excuse, and they never add up.
So,
and it,
again,
yes,
you
it
know,
never adds up.
wanted to
And
play a
this is
little devil's advocate here. Okay, so step one, the proving of the existence of a conspiracy. Step two, finding the reason why.
Oh, okay. It's very simple. Microsoft hasn't made a dent in the Japanese market for who knows how long. They have not proven their market. Now, this is from a business standpoint. For someone that's been around since the Xbox, right, the original Xbox. So how long has Microsoft been around? Over 10 years, over a decade, right? They have not made a
Correct.
dent in. They have not made a dent in the market. They've had one Final Fantasy game. They've sold about 1 million pieces. I think Crystal Chronicles sold more than that. And that's like considered to be a real Final Fantasy game, but whatever. Um, and so they haven't proven themselves in over 10 years, and they go right back to it. Explain that.
Hmm. I can, man. I can.
It's called, hey, we will help publish this game. We'll pay for it. That's what it's
A
called. Right
decade?
there.
A decade?
Even
One
with
decade?
all that.
I mean,
A
let's
decade
not-
of failure. Wait,
let's-
hold on. You fail for an entire decade, and you go back to the this is the banging the head against the wall thing. You fail for 10 years. 10 years you fail. You know something? People write Nintendo off on the same gloom and doom for 30 years, and Nintendo proves the industry wrong. Yet no one trusts Nintendo. Microsoft has failed the Japanese market for 10 years, yet they're still giving it a chance. What's wrong with this picture here, ladies and gentlemen?
I definitely agree with you because, you know, performing the same acts over and over, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity itself. So,
that is
So-
one. That is one game, though. I mean, Nintendo just got Bravely Default.
Oh, whoa.
And,
Wait,
and
whoa.
they ported tons of portable Final Fantasy titles to the DS. I mean, Square
Oh,
Enix.
wait, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you went. I'm glad you did that. Okay.
Yeah.
So they did all of that for the nice little DS that has no competition. You think they gave that to Nintendo because they were trying to give Nintendo a break? They gave that to Nintendo because they knew that it was going to sell on the Nintendo 3DS. That's why they're like, you know something, we need a cow we can milk. Let's put it on the 3DS. But they don't give Nintendo the chance to put it on the system. Okay, the creator of Final Fantasy made a game for the Nintendo Wii. This game is considered to be one of the grails of video games, and you can barely find it anywhere now. And I'm glad that they're making a part 2 to it. And that's the last story. Plus, you have Xenoblade. These are two traditional Japanese RPG games that came on the Wii U. And when you go on, what's the name of this thing? eBay. These games cost $150. Name an RPG in the last 10 years on a modern console that is on eBay for $150, and it is rare, and it is a Japanese RPG. Name one.
Xenoblade, it was sold out day one.
That's my point. And what game is Xenoblade on?
We.
The Wii.
Same
Nintendo.
point. So Nintendo gets one Japanese solid RPG, right? And their RPG goes, I guess we'll call this rare platinum or what?
We can say it went viral.
It went viral. Yet we don't. You see, if I'm an investor and I go, wow, that's the one RPG they got, yeah, and it's like that, and now it's rare to find, and they're overselling it on eBay. As an investor, I would like, you know something, I think it's time for us to take a chance with Nintendo as an investor, but it doesn't. But they go, hey, what happened to Final Fantasy on the Xbox? Well, within the 10 years, we've only sold 1 million copies. So you only sold 100,000 copies a year. That is failure, yes. All right, so let's just put Kingdom Hearts on the next system. What?
Baseball. Baseball.
What?
Well, you know, as you're talking about Square Enix and their nonsense, man, hey, you know what? They can make nonsensical decisions all the time, like throwing $1 trillion into a new Tomb Raider to get nothing back.
There are only two possible reasons why they keep making this decision, and we're gonna go back to the conspiracy of this. Someone's getting an envelope of money, or they're just crazy. And those are
think
only
it's the
two
former.
choices.
It's probably both.
I think it's more the former though.
Yeah, I will say this though. I will give the Xbox some credit. Their version of Final Fantasy 13, the first game, it cracked over 1 million copies. Granted, most of it was in America. It was like 1.4 or something like that here.
Oh really? Mario Kart. Mario Kart did 1.2 in 2 days.
In 2 days, correct. But to be fair, none of the games in the Final Fantasy series are multi-million sellers like Nintendo games anyway. The best-selling game was Final Fantasy VII, and that was only 9 million worldwide.
But Shadow, man, the whole Final Fantasy 13 thing, I think you can liken that to the fans of the Xbox platform pretty much trying to give Square Enix a response and say, it wasn't that like the first non-Sony exclusive Final Fantasy since 7, since we got.
It's since Final Fantasy 12. It was the last game since Final Fantasy 12, and everybody was waiting on it, and they marketed the hell out of it too. So.
All right, so I think that's just the Xbox platform guys
Are you
over there
guys
trying to
trying
give
to
a
apply
response.
logic to the situation?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Why are you doing such an insane notion?
Exactly, because there is no logic in this industry. This industry is completely illogical. This is the support to my statement when I say Nintendo isn't the maverick here. This is what the industry wants to portend. They want to give that image that Nintendo is the rogue, and everyone wants Nintendo to change.
How about this? Maybe it's because they don't want one thing to dominate, and they know Nintendo is so good, so they create this whole situation just to spice things up.
Nintendo is the dominant entity and has been for the last 3 decades, and it isn't going to change. Their console to their hardware to software ratio has not been matched in 30 years. If I am an investor and I see that stat, wait a minute, no one's beaten these guys for 30 years? No, they are the Yankees. You bet on the Yankees. I don't care if they lose for the next 10 years. You bet on the Yankees. No one has sold more consoles in its entire generation life cycle than Nintendo. And you can take away Nintendo's handheld and combine every console system in the house that Nintendo's ever had, and it still beats out Sony. You can even put Microsoft with it, and it still beats out Microsoft and Sony.
There's the attachment rate.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to understand their disease though. I'm understanding their disease now, right? So most investors, they go by financial statements and financial quarters, right? So you're talking every 3 months. So every 3 months, they want to see what's coming new, what's giving immediate feedback, like immediate money.
We have to stop the car again. We have to stop the car.
Well, that's all the third parties do, right?
The tires blew out on that one because I'm gonna ask you guys one simple question. The video game industry is broken up into 4 quarters. We all know which quarter is the most important, the holiday season.
Exactly. But
Which,
they don't think
which,
that way.
hold on, wait. Which company has ruled the holiday season for 30 consecutive years?
Oh, that's Nintendo.
We know who that is.
That's straight up Nintendo.
But investors don't think that way.
So
Wait, are you
why?
saying stock market investors here?
Yeah, they don't think that way. They think
No,
like
but-
a regular consumer electronics device. They think that way.
Okay.
How are we getting our profit for the next quarter, the next quarter, the next quarter, and the next
Right.
quarter?
I'm just really confused when you're talking about investors, because if you invest in Sony or Microsoft, you're investing in those companies, and their games division are a very small portion of those companies.
Exactly.
I don't even think, but I don't even think it's like an argument that you guys need to be making.
That makes sense. You know what? You know why that makes sense? And I'm going to follow up what he says. If you look how much money both the Xbox and the PlayStation has borrowed from their parent division from the continuous loss, and this is an argument I had with someone on Live and Level. I said, if you took the companies, just their game divisions, and said, we're going to put you in this video game industry alone, no help from the parent companies, Microsoft, the Xbox, and the Sony PlayStation would have died 20 years ago.
They lost $8 million since 2008.
Yeah, Microsoft as a whole company, Microsoft is very consistently ranked one of the safest investments to make, because over long periods of time, they're always going to go up because they're Microsoft. The games division is like a non-issue with that, but you're totally right. If it was like buy Microsoft Xbox stock, that would not go well. That would not go well at all.
But they know how to hide the money. They know how to hide it and add other devices in that division to cover for it. And that's the problem.
This is crazy. Totally. But if the investors are aware of this, and the investors know that, and they're trying to invest in the video game division, if they know that, man, why would they continue to sit there and invest in a failing gaming company, but then not invest in Nintendo, which Nintendo it has been successful for 30 years with no help. Nintendo doesn't have no big daddy to go to because they are the big daddy.
I'll give you one answer and one answer only. It's because everybody else is, and everybody wants to be on the train. If all the investors are in, all the money is in. So when everybody else jumps in, they jump in too. It's stupid, but that's what they do.
But like,
I call this lemming syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you not see Mario? Do you not see Mario and Luigi's belly? These guys are fat. They eating. How can you? They eating. These guys is eating well.
Triforce, I totally get you're kind of worked up about it, and that makes sense. I don't really understand. I guess is there an issue with people not investing in Nintendo? Like, I don't. Where's the problem?
No. The problem comes from Michael Packner's broken logic. Right?
Yes.
And he's feeding this stuff because he's actually telling other people that this is why you shouldn't invest. And other investors wouldn't do it either, number one, because it's a video game company. And they're trying to figure out, they don't understand how they're making profit hand over fist, and they're wondering when they're going to die. And they're not.
There's a guy out there saying don't invest in Nintendo?
Yes, and he's a professional. He's not a gamer.
Listen.
Now I get why you're upset. Now I get why you're upset.
And he's not the only one.
Does he have a Twitter? Does he have a Twitter?
Yes, he does.
What's his Twitter?
I don't know, but I can look it up for you.
Yeah, I think it's at Pactor or something like that.
Isn't that just the game trailers factor? Isn't the other factor? No. I mean, does he split his predictions into two halves? The half that is nonsensical, makes no sense, and then when you see him on some official publication, CNN or whatever, he makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
I saw that happen.
Yes, I've seen it too. The guy is good, which is what pisses me off. That's why he pisses me off. He's very intelligent.
He's not that intelligent. What it is he is what's the word for this? He is knowledgeable about the business behind it, and because he has the vast knowledge of the business, he can manipulate the information to feed people nonsense.
Of course.
But the reality, he's an idiot, because actually You know something? I take that back. He's an idiot. The people who believe in this nonsense is the idiots because
Yeah.
it's clear as day that like you can. It's right on the wall. Nintendo's a safe investment when it comes to video games. You know Nintendo is going to sell this, that, and the other. And if he can convince an entire industry that has watched Nintendo grow to be the dominant figures that they've been in the industry for the last 30 years, and they've been sitting on a throne for 30 years, and everyone's looking at it as like, nah, Nintendo's a bad bet, then he's not the idiot. The people who listen to him are idiots.
Well, I'm starting
But
to think he is too. It's at Michael Pachter, by the way, all one word.
Yeah, I dropped the link in the chat over there.
His problem is this. All right, he's from Wedbush Securities, right? And the majority of these investors, they all think the exact same way. They want instant results, and they don't care about the long term at all. That's basically how they are. You could be a long-term profitable company. They're not going to invest in you because they can't make a whole bunch of money off you. Sell the stock and get the hell on. So that's the idea of how he provides his, how can you say this, advice, if you will, to other investors, major investors, like billion-dollar investors, and that's how he makes his money.
And his supposed analysis that are not so great when it comes to video games.
Yeah, not so great. All his predictions have sucked for the most part.
Every time he's predicted Nintendo to fall out of the industry, he was completely wrong. So yeah.
I believe that the Xbox One will sell 500 million units before the end of this year. I truly believe that because I am the Pachter.
The Pachter.
Yeah, look, listen, I'm not one to make stupid bets.
He kind of does think that way, so yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not one to make stupid bets or, not live up to my word, even if I do. I will sell my house.
Dude,
run
say
around.
That. Don't say it.
Run around my neighborhood naked. Screaming at the top of my voice, Pachter was right. If the Xbox One sells 500 million within this calendar year, you have my word.
Okay, yeah.
But Triforce, you do make a great point, though. You made a point about Nintendo's record sales and things of that nature. I don't think anybody could name a first-party title that has sold more than 20 million copies that isn't a Nintendo IP.
That's facts.
You're right. Dang, thinking about it, you are completely right on that.
The thing is, the thing is with Nintendo though, you see that their games right now. Let's see, Mario Kart, Wii, for example, right? It's probably around right now 36 million, 35 around there on one platform, and still selling. Yet you got all these multi-plats and all these other exclusive things only selling around 1 mil, 2 mil, probably sometimes 13 mil.
Some of them are peaking to 10 millions.
Yeah, and
So
especially with
Nintendo's the only company to have sold as a first-party title that has sold over 20 million copies, correct?
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'm willing to say 10, but I think Halo came close to 10.
I was going to say about 10 to 12 million. I think that's the current.
I think Halo got that. So Halo 2 or Halo 3.
Yeah, Halo 3 sold like 12.
I'm gonna play it safe by saying 15 million.
Okay.
Yeah, that would probably be the safest range.
And the biggest multi-plat so far is, I would say, GTA.
That's the Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. So literally, you got it where you have this multi-plat, right? Sells around 30. I think it was, how much would it be? Like I think it was around up to 30 million, right? Or 25, something like that.
And then look at the base. Over 200 plus million consoles is coming from.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is at 20 million for PS2.
So you got this one game that is a multi-plat, sells that much on multiple consoles, right? And now they're even putting it on more consoles, which is the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, which will even make it bigger. And this is on right now 5 platforms, as this will as when it comes out on these other consoles.
Wait a minute. Is it safe to say this is a fact that there's NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, Wii, and then Wii U, 6 platforms. Nintendo has sold over 300 million consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they've
That's
sold
about right.
well over 4 billion pieces of software, if not more.
Yep. From their first party, yeah.
And that's just from their exclusive. The thing is, they make the game.
Wait, say that part again. At 400 what? 400 million what?
I would say 4 billion. They've sold over 100 million just on GameCube.
Yeah, and then they sold. But you said sold 4 billion
in software
Yeah,
$4
sales.
billion in software sales. Yeah.
and over 4 billion in software sales, right?
Yeah, if you combine their platforms.
Mainly their own first. Hold on. So I put, hello, Michael Patcher. Your vast information about the video game industry and how you have manipulated businesses to not invest in
Hold on, I gotta
Nintendo,
see this.
who is the only
Oh,
first-party company to have sold over 15 million sold for their first-party games, with over 300 million consoles and 6 consoles, and over 4 billion in software sales, mainly their own first-party games, is nothing but genius.
I
Oh
see. I
damn!
knew you were. I knew you were going for that, man.
Awesome.
Live tweeting.
I
Live
find
tweeting.
You went right for the
I find to
jugular
be
too.
Alright,
madness
I guess I'll be retweeting that.
how
I think I will
how
be too.
Favorite it.
you somehow how you somehow convinced an industry you know nothing
We'll hear it.
nor
Audio keeps kicking out there.
Yeah.
but they
Jumping in and out.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Come on, Google, don't mess this beautiful moment up. Come
Please
on.
don't do it.
This is a watershed moment right here.
No, I am favoriting and retweeting. Favorite and retweet.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. There's no way I'm avoiding that one.
But I'll put it this way. Look, between Wii and DS alone, that's close to 2 billion pieces of software.
I'm telling you, man. It's just the fact that you got Nintendo, which has a game exclusively on their console that sells.
retweet the last 2 tweets. I said, you somehow convinced an industry you know nothing about, did not grow up on, nor know how to play any games, but they believe you. Once again, you are a genius. The people who listen to you are truly the morons. However, us Nintendo of America, us Nintendo of America fans, I forgot to put the words fans, will completely destroy you. Any game.
Dude, this is beautiful. I've already favorited and retweeted everything.
Let the favorite thing and the retweeting begin.
Oh, I already did it. I was on top of that. That's not.
I was waiting for him to finish type.
Now,
I was doing it as it was popping up live, man. That was a beautiful thing.
now that that's done with, and that was absolutely beautiful, Triforce. By the way, what I'm looking forward to is his response. That's going to be the entertaining part.
Oh god! See, no, Triforce, you are going to get a pack attack dedicated to you.
You know something I'm going to say? He's on CNN, right?
Dude,
And
you are going to get. He's on CNN, game trailers.
I dare you. Wait, hold on. I dare you. And I dare you to eat.
No audio.
Damn you, audio. Come on, Google.
Google Plus, you crap.
Hold on. I dare you to even reply or give me the time of day on CNN, and I will completely shut you down.
Oh, a challenge has been issued, and we were here to witness it.
Confirmed. Michael Factor works for Google.
Hey, is this you, Triforce Game Master? Is that you?
Yes, that's him. That is him.
How many
confirm that because I'm looking right at it.
How many tweets were
That
there?
was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Retweeting.
Retweeting, favoriting.
Yep, favorite.
Retweet. Highly likely he'll have nothing to say to you. He won't be able to respond, and he'll likely just try to ignore it or sweep it under a rug somewhere. Because that's
no, because he went on a spree talking about this one guy who uses ad block. So I'm pretty sure there will be a pack attack dedicated to Triforce Johnson.
And that would be the only one I actually watch.
Glenn says,
I will watch it
says,
just
so
for the laugh factor.
this guy says, how many games have you developed or published in your lifetime? I said, I know how many I've played.
Was that private? Because I don't see it.
No, someone just messaged me.
Because he must have saw the tweet you sent.
Wait, he tweeted at you?
Oh.
Glenn, no, he would never tweet at me. He's not going to do that. He does that, he's dead. He does that, I will destroy him. And that's not me talking crap. I've been playing Nintendo games. I am 37 years old. I've been playing Nintendo games for 33 years. If he even decides to open his mouth, I will blow his face straight off.
Awesome.
That's a bait. He better not open his mouth.
Hey man,
Triforce.
Triforce,
This guy says,
you go ahead. You say it.
This guy says you realize there's a huge difference between playing and making it, right? Yup. And playing and enjoying them is the entire point.
And you know what? That brings me to another thing right there, is that games are meant to enjoy, have fun, and get away from some stress you have, reality in general, basically. Yes, I know. I don't want to use the right term.
But yet people wish to have
games. Yeah, people want all these realism, Battlefield, like Call of Duty game, military stuff. The only one is just real world graphics and all this garbage, when games are supposed to bring you to some new worlds, some new places.
We're gonna keep retweeting those retweets. I'm gonna retweet your retweet.
And the fact of the matter is that people who really like these realistic games and so forth, I mean, why not just go do it out? Oh, right, that's right. You can. So
that's
because I mean it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry about that. I just want to get this out of the way. But seriously, people have to kind of focus right now, because that's why I kind of debunk a lot of sports games. Because if you want to play basketball, go outside, man. Just go outside. You want to play football, just go outside.
No, man, people are allowed to like different games than we do.
I'm not saying
Nintendo games. I think it's okay.
No, I'm not saying whether you like it or not. I don't care. You can like it. That's no problem with me. But it's just the fact that
the perfect response to that should be, yes, I respect what people like. The big question here is, why don't you respect what I like?
That is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is a big problem in the gaming industry right now.
The biggest problem is really people wanting realism. Example is Order 1886. Look how great that thing is.
I'm reading a tweet on that right now.
Look, I've said it once, and I'll say it again.
It looks interesting.
If you go outside, because these games are supposed to be super realistic, correct?
If I go outside.
Realism. If you go outside, and everything's gray, and all the trees are gray, and all the soil is gray, and the buildings are gray, you should probably
go back inside.
Go back inside. Something's wrong with where you live.
Hold on, Zen. Are you talking about the fact that people have to cut corners and make their color depth real low, so they can push the amount of polygons and add the amount of effects they need to add to make their game look quote-unquote next gen?
Hey, Shadow, you're not supposed to be blowing up their spot like that, bro.
I'm sorry.
It's just all right, you want realism? All right, go for it, because I want to have fun, because out there I can't shoot aliens. Out there I can't be Sonic the Hedgehog and run fast. Out there I can't jump on Goombas. Out there I can't be going on quests and saving Zelda.
There's one thing I want to correct you on. Outside, you can't go jump on Goombas. There's some people that look like.
Oh wow!
Coming back to the whole color palette thing. Man. I mean, think about it. I swear, some of these developers, maybe they're colorblind, and everybody say, "Well, screw everyone else. I don't see color, so."
I'm sorry, but I actually go outside. I see a vast array of different colors. I don't see a grayed out world unless it's really dreary outside, and then I go back in because I don't want to get soaked.
Or you live in Antarctica.
I made a comment, and I don't want to offend anyone who actually is living there. I made a comment like this on another video. I can't remember which video. Someone responded to me, yeah, if everything outside is gray, you live in Pittsburgh, but
Oh, that's wrong.
I looked it up and then I understood the joke because I don't understand, the whole Pittsburgh thing. So I looked it up and then like, oh, that's what you mean, right? So
It's funny, like I bet Triforce noticed this too, but like games just talked about games should be fun. They're about being fun, and then you guys started talking about they should be colorful. They need to be like colorful. I bet Triforce was thinking the same thing as me. Like you guys are talking about Nintendo.
Not really.
Well, basically.
It's not really because we have another example, Insomniac, right? They look at what they created.
Insomniac makes some pretty colorful
Look
games.
at what they created. Sunset Overdrive looks like the best color palette I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Hold on. That game sucks because it's 900p and 30 frames a second.
That is true.
well, you see, the thing is, man, this is just common logic here, right? This isn't about Nintendo. You are chasing reality. Reality has color. It's as simple as I can make it. Reality has color.
So,
Yeah,
Triforce,
color's overrated, son.
Triforce, I
Yeah, I'm
got
here.
a comment to read to you. 2015 is when next generation truly begins. IGN.
Oh yeah, I saw that crap.
Oh my god.
Are you kidding me?
You know what?
Next generation. This
They said that.
generation began in
They said that 10 years ago, though.
But you know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
You're right. You're right. Legend of Zelda comes out in 2015.
Yeah, it does start
You're
there.
right.
Splatoon comes out in 2015.
Doesn't
But-
Splatoon also come out in 2015?
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
But you see
guys,
something?
guys.
But you see
Nothing
something
on the
there?
Wii U counts. Okay, nothing on the Wii U counts. Stop it. You're being stupid. All right.
But you see, with Sony, greatness awaits still, or may never come. But with
Greatness
Nintendo,
will not be
greatness
there.
is already here.
You
Greatness
know what's
story.
so funny? No. This
They
article,
changed that slogan too.
The
I know.
article about next gen is about third party only companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, third party only. It's not even talking about any first party from Sony or
Because that's
Microsoft.
all they count on. They don't do anything with first party.
They're
there.
multi-platform consoles. I just brought it up to Andre the other night. I was thinking about it. I'm like, holy crap! The only reason I buy Sony and I play Xbox in my brother's place and my friend's place is that it's for the other stuff. My base is Nintendo because they cover everything I generally need, and then for the little taste of the other things, I go to them because the other stuff don't have too many good first-party content.
You make an excellent point because
It's
every
like-
time I've bought another console outside of my Nintendo purchases, I bought it for third party, and this goes as far back as the PS2 Xbox generation.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
every time I had to buy another console, it was for third party. It was the main motivation for me to go out there and spend money to get another console.
You want to know what Sony did wrong with the PS4? And they went to American Western developers to know what they wanted. And that's why in Japan it's doing actually really bad in terms of sales and stuff.
Well, to be honest with you, the bigger sales actually is outside of Japan currently.
Yeah, no, it is because the thing is, in Japan, even the people who bought it, the Japanese citizens there, literally hate it. They
But
literally
yeah,
don't
that's the
like
sad
it
part. Your own home country is not even digging your software and your
because
the
the thing
hardware.
is, they made it too American. They went to like American way. I mean, it's
They
all right.
needed a
fine,
middle ground.
'cause-
Well, that actually kind of made sense because console gaming is dying in Japan in general. I mean, even
Everything is mobile.
Pretty much.
console gaming is dying in Japan. It's all going mobile, which what I was
Mobile
gonna
or
say.
handheld.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Mobile or handheld, and that's what I was gonna say. Like media outlets seem to consider only graphics when they're talking about next gen. They don't talk about how you play it or what it is. Because I consider the best platform out there, hands down, to be the 3DS. Like,
Yeah, I can
it's
go
not
with
even
that.
the Wii U or PS4 or Xbox One. Like, I'm a 3DS guy, and like I think Nintendo is killing it with that.
Well,
They
they
are.
are.
They're
They
so in
are.
everything.
Yeah.
They print
But
money, and
Nintendo-
no one ever talks about it.
Nintendo always kills with their handhelds. That's a given.
But you know,
it's like
The
no one
3DS
plays
is not doing as well as the DS. Hence it's a failure.
the funny part about this story is that once upon a time, people actually was saying the 3DS would be a failure. I
Yeah.
wonder where those persons are now.
Are these the same people that said that the Vita was going to kill the 3DS, which were the same
wait.
people that said that the
His-
PSP
Those
was
same
going to kill
people
the
shut it
DS?
off now. They sure
His
got
name
the talent.
started with a G and his last name started with an M. I don't know who was his name, but
Oh,
yeah, basically he said the
Coliardi
Vita.
did it too.
I know who you're
Oh,
talking
oh,
about.
right. Yeah, basically they literally said so much of how the Vita's gonna kill the 3DS, the Vita's gonna destroy the Vita. Guess what it's at now? And they're still trying to defend the Vita as much as they
Hold on,
can.
hold on. The Vita's getting killed by the PS4.
It is. Yeah, and
The
that's the thing.
PS4 and the Vita at
And
8 million
you know what
units
they said?
sold.
You want to know what they said? Because I actually watched one of their things again, just to see what stupidity they said this time. And literally, they're like, "Oh, well, you see, it's good that the PS4 is going ahead of the PlayStation Vita." I'm just like, no, it isn't.
How is that a good thing when the Vita's been out for like 2 years?
You know who said that? Call Moriarty,
And
of course.
and on top of
Yeah.
that, your handheld device should sell more than your home console because one, it's cheaper. It should be easier to
Hmm.
develop games for. It should have more games on it.
But when they talk about it now, when they talk about, they say, "Oh well, so the Vita's having some issues." Well, there's still great software on the Vita, and then they say, "Well, compared to the 3DS," they say, "Yeah, well, the 3DS is selling great. Yeah, it's this 3DS is killing it or whatever, blah blah blah," and they kind of write it off. Of course,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
doing
Okay.
well.
nonchalant.
Of course,
Here's
it's
what
doing well.
here's
But you were
the
saying it was going to die like before it came out, so
But that's how
it,
they talked about the E3. Nintendo killed it this year, and they kind of nonchalantly just pass off. Oh, yeah, no,
on
Nintendo.
Nintendo's
No, no,
one
no,
didn't
no, no,
show
no,
it.
no. Nintendo didn't nonchalant anything.
No,
Nintendo,
they acted nonchalant like
yeah,
it
I'm
didn't
gonna tell
happen.
no. Nintendo
You
didn't
misheard me,
nonchalant
sir.
anything.
No, you didn't
Nintendo,
hear me. Triforce.
what?
I'm saying that these
The people that's
game
supposed to be
report,
covering it,
yeah,
they're being
they're the
nonchalant
ones.
about it.
yeah.
No, no.
We know
Okay, yeah,
Nintendo pulled out
yeah.
all
No, no, no.
stops.
No, it's not that. It's not people are being nonchalant in covering it, or Nintendo's being nonchalant. Nintendo has realized something a year and a half ago. In 2012, Nintendo understood finally for the first time the industry it is not in its best interests. Nintendo created a shield like Atlantis and covered their own industry and said, "Listen, we are not interested what the outsiders think. We have enough people that support Nintendo that we can become our own industry." And Nintendo has sealed themselves in this bubble, and Nintendo does not care whether the industry covers it or not. Nintendo has enough power by word of mouth in the social community to give more coverage than the industry itself. Proof of this was this E3. It
Hmm.
said on Twitter at E3, Nintendo has been dominated the social media network. The word Nintendo has popped up on Twitter and Facebook more than any other video game company.
Instagram
That is
too.
what you need. That is
Yeah,
what you need. You
of all
don't
the
need.
tweets, Nintendo dominated 47% of them.
Yep.
So Nintendo has realized this beyond the entire industry itself, and they're like, "Wait a minute, we don't need the industry or the media to cover us. In fact, it's better that they don't,
Yeah, they
because
cover
if with them,
themselves.
if with them not being there, you don't have to hear the doom and gloom noise every year." Now, the only people that's talking about Nintendo, well, you'll still have the bad guys talk about Nintendo, but there's an overwhelming surge of Nintendo's fans supporting Nintendo. They're organic media. They don't need the media. Come on, Mario Kart didn't even need a commercial.
No, it's
Chameleon's song is back on the platinum charts now because of
it's
Luigi.
review proof. It's review proof. It's just like Grand Theft Auto. It's review proof. Somebody could give that game a 1.
No, no,
It's
no.
still gonna sell.
The Luigi viral video, the stare of death, was on TV.
That's
It
Yeah.
was
awesome.
on TV. Nintendo didn't have to create some type of commercial. People did it for them. If you go to Chameleon's official Riding Dirty video, look how many people post, "I'm here to listen to this full song because of Mario Kart 8."
Yep.
You think I'm lying?
Riding
Go
dirty.
there. Go there. You'll be like, "Oh, I went there because of Luigi." So, like, this is Nintendo's like, "No, we don't need the industry." And now you're gonna start to see at the future E3s, all of these guys now are gonna start having their own internal social media coverage. that's what's going they're going to try to tap into the social media. The sad part is that unfortunately, no one in those other two companies have the time to be on social media talking about promoting Sony, because the gamers that play Microsoft and Sony, unfortunately, to be for the most part, not all of it, because there's some guys who grew up from the Nintendo generation and moved on to those other systems. They
Hey,
really don't
Triforce.
care.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you made a big hit on Player Essence just recently. I mean, yeah, Francis jumped right on that. He was like, Triforce Blast Pactor on Twitter.
Wow. Wow. How did he get a hold of that?
You know what? Maybe he's listening on this.
So,
Is he listening to you, Jamie?
What's up?
Is he listening to you, Jamie?
No,
Maybe
he's
that
not
was-
listening. He is not listening. He
follows
just on
Twitter.
Twitter.
No, he's just on Twitter following.
He is on Twitter.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but I had to bring that up because I found it very funny.
And while we're still on that subject, though, the article that was on Twitter, talking about next gen starts now. You know that same Ubisoft CEO is the person that's talking about all that, right? The same
Yep.
person that's like, Wii U needs to get more units out there. So this is his comment. He says the transit this time is much faster than last time. It's happening very fast. We have 10 million machines sold in the first 4 months. Last time it was 4 or 5.5 or something like that. That's a lie too, because Wii was part of 7th generation, and it sold just as well, if not a little bit less, than what PS4 has right now. So there was still 10 million last generation. Nobody Wii though.
Yeah.
Gotta love selective memory.
Gotta love it, right?
This guy Glenn says if I'm the expert, and I'm like, yeah, I am. Why is he asking a stupid question? I've been a Nintendo supporter for the last 30 years. Of course, I'm an expert. And Nintendo, if I look at Nintendo, the quality of Nintendo games versus the entire industry has failed. Like, are you kidding me? Is that a question? This guy says, until you actually work in the industry, made a game or even published one, you can't really say that.
Oh, that wasn't a good thing to
Really?
say to the
Don't
person
you have
who
to
runs one of the most successful video gaming
Wait a
competitive
minute.
gaming.
How does
Guinness.
making a game all
Hold
of a
on,
sudden
hold up,
make you
dude.
not know what's fun and what's not
Just where's this guy? What's his name? Because I
His
would
name
like
is
to get
Glenn.
in on this conversation.
I'll tag you guys. Oh, we having a Twitter war on a podcast at the same time. This is
awesome.
golden. This is golden.
Just keeps better and better.
Yeah, go ahead and tag me because I would like to jump in on that. If
No,
someone
I'm just gonna
wishes to comment like that,
This is so
here-
awesome,
here-
really, dude.
look at the chat. Look in the chat. That's his tweet. That's his tweet.
okay, I got this.
I'm gonna laugh at him.
I got this. Because dude is not realizing the stupidity he has just thrown himself into.
Money is the only thing that can shut him down, but let him talk Triforce. That's what this Skyward Link said.
You guys want to bring in
Yes.
You want to bring in the big guns? Send in the trolls.
All right. Here's a question. Where's this
I got
essence?
what I'm
link?
looking for.
Where's the essence link?
Oh, hold on. I'll get it for a second. I'll get it because it just popped up in my feed. I'll grab it.
I got it right here, actually. I was already
Oh,
on
you
it.
already got it?
Yep,
Okay.
there it is.
All right.
I'm sorry. I gotta find this dude because I gotta see this stupidity.
Yeah, I'm trying to see this.
Yeah, this. I'm like, does he even bother to see who he's talking to before he starts running off with the mouth?
Nope. That's what makes it so funny.
That's the thing about blind defenders, man. They blindly defend.
They just jumped out, not
Yep.
realizing he is talking to someone who has made history in the video game industry.
I call blind defenders lambs for the slaughter.
Oh my gosh! So
Who is this famine guy?
That's the dude that was
That's the Glenn guy.
Yeah. I have to see it. I have to see this.
I eat food that doesn't make me a professional chef. What? Hold on. So is he trying to say because
You sure,
he doesn't make a game?
he's not a troll?
Oh, mama, that's not nice.
So my question is this: does Michael Pachter make games?
No, he doesn't.
So what's his point? It's two people that don't make games having a different opinion.
I just got to send a real quick reply to this dude because this is funny to me. So oh man, I can't believe this stupidity.
You know,
You know what?
what I'm smiling ear to ear about right now is that this is all being captured live.
Triforce, I'm sorry, but this is probably going to be my worst fanboy moment ever.
Playing that game does not mean you're in a position to advise on how it's developed. Nobody's talking
To
about how a
advice?
game is developed.
To advice.
You know,
Wow.
I love how I had a big list of topics, and they've all just kind of gone out the window now. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. You see, that's the thing about beautiful moments, man. You never know when they'll come.
He said common sense also tells you that you have no idea what it costs Nintendo to make a game, operated, marketing, etc. Obviously, way cheaper than third parties because they are going broke.
I put up a really simple tweet. A real simple tweet to this person.
And actual
That you know that you're
professional.
talking to somebody who has made history in the video game industry. Rather than talking bullcrap, this is somebody who's actually involved in it.
Yeah, like Nintendo knows you personally, I would imagine. This is
You don't even want to know. You don't even want to. You know what you should tell them? This is what you should type to him. You should say, Google Triforce and Nintendo. Just put in the word Triforce Johnson Nintendo. Google. Press start. I'm serious.
doing
too.
it now. I'm doing it.
I'm already doing it.
This guy, do you guys know this guy is an actual game developer?
I don't know if he is or not.
Doesn't make
No,
What
no,
game-
he is.
what-
He is. I'm looking at his website right now. He worked on. I'm not arguing. I'm just letting you know. He worked on Anarchy Online, Age of Conan, Bloodline Champions, a couple other games I've never heard of, and he's working on Entropy, some MMO coming out. And he says on his website he's a competitive gamer, but the only game he names is EVE Online and Street Fighter. So I don't know. But
So
just
he's not a competitive gamer then.
And everything that he's developed, the servers are dead now. Great.
I'm just letting you guys know. I'm just giving you some background.
You should mention that. You should mention that.
Yeah, you guys go at. I just wanted to let you know. I just saw a link to his website on his Twitter thing or whatever, so I just thought I'd let you know.
He's a competitive gamer though. He should know who EMP Arcadia is.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
said, he didn't mention what games, so I don't know. Like he says he's a hard.
He mentioned Street Fighter, and we've had Justin Wong, we've had K-Brad, we have Sanford, we have Yipes who even played that one time. We had all these top players, world-renowned champions in multiple games from Marvel, to international champions from Street
Red
Fighter.
Knight
I'm not
is
even
on
going
this,
to
too.
Injustice
Oh, yeah.
and the rest of them.
Oh yeah.
Got Red Knight jumping in laughing at stuff too. Gosh, man. He's like sitting here. I just saw his post. Oh man.
This is great. Everything's completely off the rails, and it's awesome.
I'm sorry. It's probably partly my fault too, but it's okay.
It doesn't matter. I mean, we're here to have fun. And just, so hey,
I'm just glad I was here for this.
I think we all are.
So I said to him, since he wanted to be an idiot, I said to him this. I said, because after he says all because they've been playing. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Oh, okay. He said something to me, and I recently said I get loading. I said, you know what I find funny? These experts have been wrong about Nintendo for 30 years, yet you still listen to them. However, the gamer who has been playing the game for 30 years, who has made predictions about their success and been right, has no idea what he's talking about. Like I said, you have a weird logic.
This is what I put. Google Triforce and Nintendo and try again. Making an MMO doesn't make you an expert on consoles. Sorry. It doesn't. I mean, when was the last MMO that came out on a console? Sorry.
Oh, man.
Final Fantasy 14. Not that I play it because I definitely don't. But
Hold up. His thing was, when have you ever admitted that you were wrong?
Many times. Just, unfortunately.
He's like, so how many games have you developed or published in your lifetime? Okay. Really?
You don't have to develop and publish games to know them.
Okay. How many second party Nintendo games have you developed or seen working before they were released? If you can answer that question, then that's also just as irrelevant. I mean, really? Come on, dude. He's trying to create it. He's trying to create the only argument he think he can win.
He shouldn't have jumped on that argument.
Nah, not at all. He should have left that alone.
This guy makes games that have failed. I've played games and set them in Guinness World Records. We matter. I have 40 world records. Like, are you kidding me? And 5 of them are in Guinness, and the rest are in Twin Galaxies. I do not know what this guy is talking about. And I am the CEO.
By doing that, you know more about the code than he does.
Exactly. Well, nah, I just know how to play the game. I don't want to make a game. And to be honest with you, I don't ever want to make a game. I'm a gamer. I want to play them. I don't want to make them. His job is to make them. My job is to play them and determine whether his game is good or bad. He doesn't determine if his game is good or bad. I do. And Michael Patrick doesn't determine if his game is good or bad because he doesn't play video games.
You are going in. Who is the only first-party company to have sold over 15 million of the first-party games, over 300 million consoles sold in 6 console cycles? Oh God, I'm loving it.
But the sad part is he has not addressed that.
No,
you noticed that?
Yeah, he just addressed that one little thing. He's talking about have you made a game?
What he's trying to do is he's trying to change the subject.
Yeah, about you making a game.
That is a common tactic when you know you have been beaten.
Exactly.
There was nothing to discuss. I simply state Michael has no idea what he's talking about because Nintendo has done stat. He then says, you don't know what you're talking about because you haven't made a game. Excuse me? I'm talking about the sales.
What game
exactly.
Michael Pachter made?
Michael Pachter ain't made no game.
When
you guys should say that. You should say that. You should say that. Have to disagree on that. I think you put yourself way above those guys too much. Way above who?
I can't see the one he replied to. Hansel Field.
So wait, are we live tweeting podcast?
Yeah,
live
tweeting during the podcast, dude.
This podcast is being live tweet. Yes, this is the new era of podcasting.
Phil Carter said, "Please don't make threats to people on Twitter while speaking for a company."
Triforce Johnson versus we don't know what the guy's name is. Versus some dude who's never heard of him but claims to be a fighting game guy somehow magically.
Hold on. So check this out. Hansel Field said, "Please don't make threats to people on Twitter while speaking for a company, even if you don't mean it literally." And then you're like, "Threat? A threat is a declaration of intention or determination to inflict punishment, injury, etc. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Put an end to the existing of something by damaging or attacking." You were talking about putting an end to the ignorance. So he wants to defend the ignorance?
Pretty much. You should ask him that. You should just straight ask him that. You know what it is? These guys love to throw out their little stupid opinions and statements, but their statements are defeated with simplistic, common sense questions. You ask the right question, and they know the answer. What they're going to do, they're not going to answer the question, because then they're going to get caught in their own stupidity. So they're just going to make another statement. Would you just ask another question again? And this is how you catch liars and ignorant people in stalemates where they can't go anywhere, because no matter what, they have to. And they're going to keep running from the question. That's why when I says, I'm going to say, way above who? When has Michael Patrick made a game? Okay, let's put him. Let's.
I already asked that question.
So that's like the whole I know what you are, but what am I? Well, I need some sleep.
This is awesome.
Gamer and has not heard of Arcadia. I heard of Arcadia before I was even interested in competitive gaming. That's where I'm like, this dude is lying. He's obviously lying about something.
Yeah, either what he claims to be, he's not, or he's just trolling, or.
I think this is Vince Force. I mean, whether they're his friends or not, but I mean, he's got some buddies, but.
Oh,
that was just stupid to me.
I'm gonna check him and see. I'm gonna see if Pachter follows him.
Yo, for real, you never know. That could be a cell. That really could be a cell just randomly defending him.
Oh, hold up! It's really not about Pachter, to be honest. To be totally okay. To be honest,
no, wait, no. But this discussion started from Pacta. So how is he changing it? Don't let him run away. This is
no,
the runner.
I
This is the
already
runner.
know that. I already got that. But you said knows nothing
Wait,
about
see.
him.
It's really not even about Patra, to be honest. What are you? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna get it. What are you talking about? This whole conversation started from him. What are you? Wait, what are you talking about?
He is just deflecting right now, man. That is a
About
common tactic.
Michael Pachter doesn't follow him. So he's an elite beat agent.
But you said a person who doesn't make games knows nothing about them, but step into something. Oh no, not something. But step into this. Step into this. Step into this.
I think it's awesome because we both have the same last name. He's just an idiot.
So if it has nothing to do with gaming, then
Meet your dark twin.
Common sense isn't common, apparently. Yeah, it is. What's up with this?
oh, there's no common sense left in the world. This is stupid. This is stupid sense, and it's everywhere.
They need
How
to
would you know
remain-
you're no surgeon? That's the point. You're the player looking from the outside looking in, not inside out. But you have been on the inside.
They need to rename common sense, man. Common sense is definitely not common anymore.
Uncommon sense now.
Uncommon
It is
sense.
Uncommon sense. And my phone is blowing up in everybody's ear. I'm sorry. Because all the tweets are happening and going right to my phone.
Go tweets.
Hey, I try to stay connected.
Jamie, best Buttercast ever.
Guys,
We're gonna play Google.
I'm sorry, dude. We took over the Buttercast, but something else beautiful has evolved from.
I need you guys. Wait, I need you guys to retweet something.
All right.
All right, quick suggestion.
I'm retweeting that one.
This guy's blog mentioned he was on a podcast at one point. Why don't we just invite him on right now?
There we go.
Okay,
There we
yeah,
go.
go ahead.
Send an invite.
Just tweet him an invite or whatever. I don't know how to do that, but somebody probably does. Jamie?
Okay, see, one opinion, man. This thing melted down, but in the best possible way.
Alright.
It's hilarious.
Check out my very last tweet.
Oh, I saw that one.
And please, I just put it up. My very last one, and retweet it and favorite it.
And if that dude actually joins in here, it's just gonna get better.
Oh, he talking to you like he knows who you are. He said, all because they play games for 10 to 20 years. Come on now, Triforce, don't be silly.
Well, that's the point.
Hold on.
I played games for what? That's those what?
Hold on, Triforce, don't get silly.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That was his reply to, what did he put? That was his reply to, he tweeted twice back when you said LOL, really LOL. He said, sure, why not? You think those in the industry that have no expertise that anyone can do what Nintendo does? All because they play games for 10 to 20 years. Come on now, Triforce, don't be silly. 125, that was 10 minutes ago.
Arrogance in that one.
That was after the tweet where he said, until you actually work in the industry, made a game, or even published one, you can't really say that. But you're Triforce.
Yeah, I mean, I would say an average gamer playing for 20 years.
No, his response was, I think you're confused. I'm not defending Pachter. I'm saying, how can you slam him if you didn't? Didn't what?
If you didn't what? Because
why-
obviously he isn't doing it either.
Wow.
This is just an inside look at what most of these Western developers, the kind of arrogance and
Didn't turn around and then then turn around and act like you did.
what? The self-importance most of these people you carry around with them is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You're bashing a guy for in what you're alluring to. You're bashing a guy for sounding self-important. You're trying to be self-important yourself here. So what are you trying to say here?
Did you guys?
So basically,
that second to last tweet.
Basically, he wasted his time.
Pretty much.
Did you guys see that tweet that I put out, like with the link of the video?
Yeah, from WrestleMania 27, 28.
No. Hold on, wait. I'll put it in the chat. You'll laugh.
Oh, I saw it.
That's just stupidity.
The one where it says, "Who asked Michael Patrick for what he thought?" Did you guys see that?
No,
I saw
I didn't
it.
see that one.
I saw it. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, okay, I see
This
that.
tweet. Yeah, I
From
put it in the
WrestleMania
chat.
20.
Retweeted and favored.
7? Hold on. It would have been. No, 28. WrestleMania. No, WrestleMania 28. I called it.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
WrestleMania
I
27.
want to do something else unprecedented in the podcast. I'm going to go take a quick shower during my podcast.
While everybody else is running the gambit, basically.
Exactly.
Is this YouTube link going to the stream?
I don't know.
Well,
Triforce posted
man,
it.
Butterworthy, I don't think anyone minds because you still got your viewership, so they're loving it too.
This is an unprecedented thing. I mean, man.
So
Yeah.
so I'm going to go to shower. If you guys need another topic, talk about Capcom. And what's going to happen with them. So I'll be back in a few minutes.
I'm just flabbergasted by how blatantly arrogant this guy just came off as.
You know what? I'm feeling kind of arrogant right now because I would have thought that it would have been myself, Zen Gamer, and freaking daggone the man himself just going in on some of these idiots like live. This is craziness. I can't believe we're all here.
It's one of those things that just happened, and it felt like fun, so I went with it.
Yeah. Works for me. Once again, you're a genius. The people who listen to you are truly the morons. It gets just funnier every time I listen to it.
Wow.
And that dude never replied to my comment either. He's like, destroy put the end existence of something by damaging or attacking it. And I'm like, so you want to defend ignorance? That's the only thing he's threatening to attack. No reply.
Oh, man. People. And I wonder if Francis is going to put all this up, because...
he just followed me on Twitter.
God, man.
Going in.
I'm sorry, but at least, even if the person doesn't make video games, I would listen to them if they play them over somebody who doesn't actually play them.
I just wrote that. I just saw it. I said I played them, and he doesn't. So I have more legitimacy than him. I should have said than him. I at the very least play them. He doesn't.
Jamie actually retweeted. There's a listener that goes, "Damn it, get back on track, LOL. I want to hear Triforce speak on Zelda." From Dad's Active Gamer Life.
Oh, that's Red Knight.
We haven't talked much about Zelda, have we?
Oh.
Not much to really say.
Red Knight asked a favor. He said to let everybody know that the Red Samus team did well. I hope you heard that.
Wow.
He was talking about Mario Kart.
You see, I took part in that tournament, man. And if you're listening, it's going to be like that, huh? I was on Team Mega Man. All right.
Listen to this cop-out, he said. Your first comment came off like you were all-knowing expert in gaming industry. That's why.
Isn't that what Michael Pachter does all of the time?
Exactly.
Let us all say that.
So there's a reply.
No, nobody. That's what Pachter does all of the time. So you made a pointless argument.
Actually, speaking of Samus, hey Triforce, are you a fan of Awesome Games Done Quick?
Not really. I'm a more like a completish. Complete. That's not even a word. I'm more of a guy. Yeah, I love to complete 100% of the game and literally absorb everything in the game. So I actually don't like speedruns. Let me not say I don't like speedruns. I can appreciate
them.
Yeah, I don't like doing them. I can appreciate watching them, but like if someone says Triforce, why don't you play? Nah.
Oh God, I wouldn't play them. God, they're hard.
Yeah. Well, they're not that difficult because they're all patterns. Once you know the patterns, I just like to complete them. If I want to do a speedrun game, I play a racing game. That makes sense. See?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, come on, nobody. That's Pactor all of the time.
It is muscle memory. I gotta say though, I watched the Super Metroid race. The 4 top Super Metroid speedrunners did a simultaneous race last year.
They don't even look at the screen, do they?
It was nuts. They were like 18 minutes in, and they were on the same screen. They were that close.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Well, Shep and Shadow retweets and favorites.
Yeah, because this dude's a retard.
No, I wouldn't classify him as that because that is very, very rude to the people that actually have mental conditions.
Yeah.
That's offensive.
He is ridiculously inane. That's how I'll put it.
Wow. Not even
That guy
worth.
makes it sound dignified somehow. I'm sorry. It's that to me that's just blatant stupidity and completely overlooking the point that was made in order to try to make himself feel good.
Triforce Johnson blast Michael Pachter on Twitter.
Where's that?
It's officially on the tweet list now, and it's officially one of his articles.
He missed the line. He missed the.
Someone says, and Michael Patrick somehow is guilty of the exact same thing. Oh my goodness.
That was one of those things everybody had to go in on because that's just no. That is
so. Let me go back to the facts here. And these are directly from Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm. Software
sales from the family computer, the NES, right?
Oh, hold on.
5 million.
As you say them, I'm gonna just put them out there for this guy.
Sweet.
Give me a second. As you say them, I'm just gonna hit him up. Where is he? Let me reply to this guy. Wow. Whoa, what's going on? All right. Let me get up to him first. I'm just gonna tweet this in a brand new tweet for him. Okay. I'm gonna put. Let's go over
the facts.
Yep. Directly from Nintendo's page, from their financial page, 500 million units of software for the NES.
Okay, because he has somehow missed. One second.
Oh man, that's
wow.
So
let's go.
500 million NES.
Wait. Okay, let me go to his page because this is gonna keep doing this. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. One second.
Cool.
They have sold what? 500 million.
For the NES.
500 million for the NES.
Next.
379 million for the Super NES.
And these are what? The actual games, right? 379
pieces of software. Yeah.
Yep.
Right, 379 million for the SNES.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
224 million. Well, 225 million for the Nintendo 64.
For the N64. Mm-hmm.
208 million for the GameCube.
208 million.
GameCube's all based in the 64.
Yeah.
Man, love that attachment.
One second, guys. Hold on for a second. Yo, Phil. Yeah, your timing is impeccable. I'm in the middle of a podcast arguing with Michael.
He just dropped.
Is Google.
Yeah. Google is the worst ever. Well, I can't say the worst ever because then he'll kill the stream.
Yep.
Google will be like, oh, we're the worst? Okay. Kill this.
Google don't like me because I got 3 capital G's. Well, not 3, 2 capital G's. Oops. Gave myself an extra G. Maybe I should be great video game ideas not used.
And they're like, hey, you're close to the Google name. Why do you have that?
Well, okay. In the absence of our illustrious host and Triforce himself, I guess we should go ahead with the next topic.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
man.
I'll finish reading them out anyway, even though he's not here. So the problem is that this system is
Sorry
so many
guys,
million.
I
Oh, we
got
got
cut
it back.
because I answered a Skype call. My bad. Okay,
That's
where were
cool.
we last left off?
Okay.
I got the GameCube.
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
was it?
208 million. The
For
Game
the
Boy is
GameCube?
501 million.
501 million.
The original Game Boy.
On the Game Boy. Actually, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna make it sound better. Half
$500 million.
Yeah.
Shit. It's true.
next. What
Um.
internal server error? Oh, they're trying to let them get away with this. No, we're gonna push this tweet. Oh, tweeted it already. All right, let's go. Next.
377 million for the Game Boy Advance.
377 million for the GBA. GBA.
Yeah.
Yep.
944 million for the DS.
944 million. You know
Yes.
something? 1
Man.
billion for the
Yes.
DS.
Gosh, that is insane.
And you know how they say the attach ratio is shit for the Wii?
Yeah.
895 million pieces of software for the Wii.
Are you bull? You
895
can't be.
million for the
I would have never
Nintendo
known that number was that loud.
Wii, right?
Oh,
Go on.
gosh.
Go on.
163 million for the 3DS so far.
163 million for the N3DS.
And that Wii U with the shit attach rate, 32 million.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna say that. And the Wii U with so-called terrible attach rate.
32.28 million.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's nearly
2,
6 times the install base.
Exactly. Oh, I'm gonna put that too.
Just about
So-
every owner of a Wii U has purchased at least 6 games for the console.
Yep.
So 32 million, which is what? Which is
Almost 6.
Which is almost 6.
Almost 6 games per Wii U.
Which is almost 6 games per Wii U.
And that's not even counting digital.
Nah.
God tier ratio.
Man, that's an insane attachment ratio.
Yeah, it is.
That's for the failed console that's selling horribly.
So
Wow.
Excellent
what?
attachment as always.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm happy to be a part of this moment in gaming history.
So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nintendo
Children
is a
of all
failure.
ages.
Nintendo is a failure. They don't sell games.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, I had to throw in the Road Dogg reference.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 billion just counting NES, Game Boy, Wii, and DS. That's 4 billion across 4 platforms.
4 That's 4 billion across what?
No, I'm sorry. That's 3 billion. I'm sorry. 3 billion across 4 platforms.
Who is touching that?
3 billion.
I mean, yes, of course, Nintendo's been around for 30 years.
Across 4 platforms.
Across 3 billion across 4 platforms.
Yeah, alone.
All right, gentlemen, I'm back. Did I miss anything?
You didn't miss a
missed
whole lot, but I mean, we ran through the numbers on Nintendo, and I just realized how insane they were.
Yeah.
I knew about the GameCube and
Uh-oh.
I knew about the DS, but good God, I didn't realize the Wii did as well with the attachment.
Jamie,
Yo.
I think we're starting to gain a little popularity tonight. Your boy wants an invite.
Who?
Game Nate?
Oh God.
You know we're live, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're live. I mean, as it is, because remember, I have to be up at 8 a.m., which is, roughly 6 hours from now.
I gotta be up at 5.
Don't feel bad. Yeah, I'm about to say I gotta be up at 5 too.
Yeah, so we're all. So
Wow.
I don't want this to go too long, basically.
I want this to break Google.
I'm sorry. We just sat through something amazingly big with like squashing that one guy like that because he obviously decided that his pride as a developer, which he has not proven himself yet,
Oh, with
was on
his
the line.
MMOs, he knows a lot about consoles making MMOs apparently.
Like,
Yep.
okay, well then put your MMO in the Wii U.
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
It's perfectly set up for it.
whichever you are still listening, ladies and gentlemen, when we go off topic, we make it epic.
Yes, this is the most
This
epic
was-
rat hole. That was like an hour, wasn't it?
Wow.
An hour rat hole. Awesome.
All right, well, that's good. Let's finish it up. All right.
Capcom,
I'll
Legend of Zelda.
Capcom and Legend of Zelda. Those are I think the two things that were requested.
All right, I think what we should do is we should probably skip Capcom because this Legend of Zelda topic may take forever on its own because this is a Triforce topic, hands down. But here's the thing. Here's what I've been wanting to discuss for the last like hour and a half. All right, the new Zelda for Wii U. I mean, there's been discussion about is Link male or female? Where is it going to be in the timeline? Could they possibly play with their different Triforce, their different roles within the Triforce? Like, could Link get like wisdom? Could Ganon get like courage? It could be a weird. I don't know. I'm just throwing random things out there because I'm kind of loopy at this point. But the basic things that have been thrown at me is that people just want to kind of hear, particularly Triforce's theories and thoughts on the new Zelda, where it could go, and what he'd like to see. And of course, everyone else can chime in too, but this one's for Triforce.
Well, I will tell you this. Going back to the whole Zelda thing. I had the pleasure of playing the Hyrule Warriors at E3. I am
Is
copying
it
that
as
game.
good as it looks like it's going to be?
It's
I just
better.
wanted
I'm gonna tell you why. It's better. Because Link is what they make Link do in that game. Well, you have to be a Dynasty Warrior fan to truly. Well, actually, if you're not a
I
Dynasty
kind of am because I play the Fist of the North Star games and I've played a few of the other ones.
Yeah, I like
So
Dynasty
I'm
Warriors.
well versed in it.
All right. Well, they've incorporated Link's entire functionality in terms of using his items and his sword, and they've enhanced his sword play. I don't want to ruin this for anyone, right? So there's this.
Oh, you are not ruining anything. You are just
Please
whetting my
continue.
appetite for this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set it off for you guys, right? So you start the game, right? When you start the game, yeah, right. I picked Link, obviously, and then I'm picking the sword because I don't want to pick the fire rod. I don't care about the fire rod. And then you really feel like you are the hero of time and you are in true need in Hyrule. So you see all these enemies all over the screen, you're fighting them, and Link is going through like Dynasty Warriors would. Like he has a different a variety of attacks, and then he can go into this bum rush with the Hylian shield, and it just knocks all these enemies out of the way. And then he has the World Blade and the whole 9 yards. And then you see Impa, and you see she's over there fighting, and you see like mad people like are attacking her. She's getting bum rushed, and you really feel like Link because they're like. In your mind, in my mind, because I'm a big kid when it comes to this. In my mind, I'm like, I gotta help, Impa. So you have a dodge option in the game, so you can jump out of the way, right? So I'm dodging, and while I'm attacking and moving forward, and then there's this like you slash, roundhouse slash, another slash, and you put the shield up, and then you run through like a wave of enemies, and you're just knocking them all out of the way with your shield, and then you jump over there, and then you help Impa, you body them. And he's like, Zelda's in the courtyard with the troops, but they're being outnumbered, and you're like, I can take care of myself, go after a Link, and I'm like, okay, so now I'm like, all right, I gotta go save Zelda, so I'm in my hero mode now, right? So I'm running out there, and I see all these guys now, Burris, I'm like, I gotta go help Zelda. So you go over there, you bash them and everything, and you beat out those guys, and then Zelda said there's this boss, so this big lizard guy. Actually, was it a lizard guy or was it no, it wasn't a Star Force. It's this lizard guy. And she goes, thank you for helping Link. Now that you cleared out this area, move on to the next objective, take out that boss guy right there that's taking out her and the knights. So it plays a lot like Dynasty Wars. You go over there, you body the knight. You have to dodge. You can't it's like Dynasty Wars, but they implement all the Zelda elements in the game, the entire Zelda engine in the game. So you beat him. Then they tell you have to get this item. which is in this cave, and you have to go. And when you go into the cave, the enemies on top of the cave block you in. They throw these rocks down on you. When you go downstairs, there's an ambush. You got to body all these guys, you beat them, and then you open a chest. And you get the bombs. So now when you go upstairs, now you use the bombs to blow up the boulders that trapped you in there in the robot, and then you find out that they've invaded Hyrule Castle. So you got to get to the castle place, and you fight the Dodongo. Then when you're fighting the Dodongo, he's breathing fire. You get to jump, slide to the side, and you attack. When he's about to open his mouth and breathe fire on you, you throw the bombs in his mouth, and then he chokes on the bombs, and you go to the side of him and you attack him. And there's a special attack you get where he gets a super world blade. I'm like, Team Ninja, Nintendo, and the rest of these guys and Koei, they made this game so godlike, because if Zelda was ever expressed in real-time battle, they need to use this engine in every Zelda game known to man. The next Zelda game's battle engine will be trash compared to Hyrule Warriors. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be trash, because what's happening in Hyrule Warriors is that's crazy. It should be in every Zelda game. So after you do that and you get the Dodongo into his weak point, then you go in order to kill him, you have to fill out this meter when you're doing the slash, and Linky goes ha 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 ha, and then he goes a world blade, and then he runs up on top of him, jumps a somersault flip into a head stab, and kills him. I was like, oh, that's godlike. This game is the best. I was like, all right.
I got a question.
Before your question, man. Even if I had not seen a single second of footage for this game, that delivery would have sold me.
Oh yeah,
that is selling.
I mean, the passion you put out there was, epic, man.
I was more hyped for this
Man,
game.
the way you described that just made me want to play it even more.
Yeah.
You gotta see this game, man. I'm telling you, because I was all over this game.
Do you think Ganon is going to be playable in Hyrule Warriors?
What's this?
Huh?
So, do you think Ganon is going to be playable in Hyrule Warriors?
Wait, stop. Michael Patrick replied to me.
Oh god.
Oh, okay.
And now he done effed up. He says it's usually CNBC, and don't pick the guests. No, and I don't pick the guests. Most people invest in stocks based on future earnings, not past earnings. Now he royally screwed up. I'm trying to watch my mouth.
I'm like the future earnings continues to.
And after 30 years, of profits.
We also get a link into the podcast.
No, we don't need to bring him in. After 30 years of profits, you would think. After 30 years, wait, hold on. After 30 years of profits and 30 years of time, IP, you would think. It's a safe bet, but you.
Right. So,
however,
before you go off on him, just as somebody somewhat knowledgeable about the stock market, by no means an expert, a company can actually be profitable and still go down in stock. Like the stock market, any particular stock is affected by several different factors of other stocks in that sector and lots of other things. And there have been lots of times when a company can actually make money but still be not necessarily a good stock choice. So I don't know. I don't want you to focus too much of your energy fighting with him. I don't think that he's arguing that Nintendo's not a profitable company. He's arguing that in terms of a stock, it may not be the best one. I just want to let you know that before you expend too much energy on it.
But that's because of their problem too, though. The way that they look at how they want to invest. They want to invest quarter by quarter, and that's a no-go because most people that want to invest in a company, they're doing it for a retirement fund or something like that. They want to be able to invest in something and walk away, and they don't have to worry about coming back the next day or 2 years later and they're in the hole.
But how many times has it been stated and proved that when you're doing this kind of business, it's really, really bad to look at the short term, and you need to look at the long term.
That's what gaming is.
That's what the stock market used to be about.
Right, so it's supposed to be on long term, but there, like I said, so there are things called like exchange trade funds or ETFs, and it's like a group of stocks, a giant group of stocks. So it could be an ETF for like electronic media or electronics, right? So let's say the ETF starts performing poorly, and Nintendo is in this group of ETFs. Just even though Nintendo could be doing super well, if other companies in the ETF don't do particularly well, then the price of that could go down, and that could actually substantially impact. That could cut Nintendo's stock in like half, even if Nintendo is doing gangbusters. And this is like short-term and long-term stuff. I'm in the middle of reading Jim Cramer's book. He's the guy that does Mad Money on MSNBC or CNBC, and it's all about like the intricacies of the stock market. And that's why a lot of people aren't like amateur investors anymore, because there are so many factors that like heavily affect things. So again, if the guy is saying Nintendo's not going to be profitable in the long term, totally go at it with him. But if he's talking about stocks, like stocks are so complicated, like it may not even be worth fighting about, honestly, because like he could be right. Maybe Nintendo's like, maybe if you're an individual investor and you want to put money in Nintendo, in 20 years it's not really going to go anywhere. He could be right. I don't know. He's the expert. But, you know, hopefully he's not arguing Nintendo won't be profitable.
I said, well, I told him, yeah, and after 30 years of success and 30 years of timeless IPs, you would think it's a safe bet. However, you think otherwise. Your point of view is based on long-term investment with stocks and groups. But one thing, my point of
Google did it again.
And profits.
I'll see it on Twitter.
And you could.
I still haven't seen him reply to him yet. It must be a private.
Yeah, he probably did privately.
You can go to Hector's profile and get his replies, and you'll see it.
Yeah, it's not private.
Oh, it's coming up now. It wasn't showing.
It wasn't showing on mine either, so that's why I'm like, wow.
You could be right in certain areas, but I will say this: your children will make sure Nintendo remain.
Yeah, he didn't reply to that.
I don't see where you guys are seeing it. It's not showing up anywhere.
Go on my time.
It's on his timeline.
Right? I will bet your children will make sure Nintendo remain a good investment. That's it. I'm just gonna say those three things to him. I got nothing more to say.
Jeez. All right, so back on topic.
Oh yeah,
fell in another hole.
My question was if he's done typing. Did you see a lot of people? I heard a lot of people were trying to play with Zelda there.
Yes, there's some people that was playing. Zelda's good. She has a rapier type sword and everything, but like put it like this.
The one she has, like Twilight Princess.
Yes. So the thing is, now most people are gonna want to talk about like a whole. Most people are gonna want to talk about the whole like where in the timeline does this fit. Nintendo officially says that the game doesn't fit in any timeline. Like Soul Calibur 2, it's its own.
It's just a game.
Well, no, Soul Calibur 2 has a storyline for Link that can fit. It just fits in. It's not a part of the official timeline, but it does fit within the universe of Zelda, of the Legend of Zelda, because the Triforce sends Link to the Soul Calibur realm, and yes, the sword does merge and become, the Master Sword, the only thing strong enough to destroy the Soul Edge, and that's a whole separate adventure that has nothing to do with Hyrule. So, but Hyrule Warriors, I really think Koei should take the time to implement a story. This is the story I would put. That guy that you're playing with actually isn't Link. It's like a descendant of Link. And he's a part of the Hyrule Knights. And during the time Link was missing, this is the imprisoning war. because that makes so much sense.
That does make a lot of sense. That's
the
awesome.
theme of this
Said
game.
real well.
That's what I thought originally was gonna be about, to be honest with you.
Yo, cause like, you know, oh man.
The only thing about
I'm
that
a,
is they lose the imprisoning war. That's the only
yes,
thing
they
about
do.
that.
They
It would
do, and
still be an epic battle to have to fight it.
Yeah.
Who says the ending always have to be a happy one?
Yeah, it doesn't have to necessarily be a story of triumph and joy. It can be a tragedy.
Halo Reach.
We could do with some of that in some Zelda games.
no, because at the end of the imprisoning war, although Ganon does get the Triforce of Power, you have to remember if this is the imprisoning war, then Ganon loses because he eventually gets sealed, and this
Yeah.
would have to go into
By
the
the
main
sages.
timeline. Yeah, this would have to go into the main timeline because in the alternate timeline, when it splits in Ocarina of Time, he's sealed there. So in order to keep the timeline true, he has to be sealed in the main timeline as well to keep the continuity of time. So it doesn't matter if you throw a pebble into an ocean, the ripple, it's still going to go with the current of time. So that would make sense if that was the imprisoning war. So this Link would sacrifice himself in a battle where it looks like Link dies, but that's not the real Link. And they don't even have to show that Link die. They could show like in the end, Link does something to sacrifice himself to call on the sages, and they seal Ganon in that one, and everyone thinks Link's dead, but it's really not the real Link. They can make that a different Link. It doesn't have to be the main Link because the link that matters is the one that was lost in Termia.
So pretty much you're confirming now that Ganon will not be playable.
No, I'm not confirming that because I don't know.
No, I'm just saying,
Honestly,
based on a theory, because if the war is to imprison him, then it
Yes.
But there's one thing you gotta remember about Dynasty Warriors games. They let you play opposite sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
all right,
it
okay.
could be possible.
All right.
Because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage, you get to play as Rao.
Yeah, it would be cool to play as like Ganondorf or even Ganon with like a whole bunch of knights and stuff coming at him, and he's just throwing them all away.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool.
That's what I would expect of him because he'd be like a warlord class fighter. So yeah,
Which means they'll have to construct a story ending for the Ganon playthrough, pretty much.
yeah.
All right. I can sign in for that.
Alternate ending for the win.
Yeah.
I have no
Even-
problem with that at all.
But I see the thing is, like you know, I really think I think the game, yeah, I think the game is going to be. I think that story is still going to be played because until they release the entire game, it will be foolish to just let that game. Like I think Nintendo should take over for that. Like let me write the story. I'll make real good use of that game because like in that game, Impa is still there. Zelda is still there. You know, Zelda is one of the sages that has to seal Ganon in that era. Because remember, Zelda sends Link back, so Zelda goes back herself. Like, there's so many things, man. This has to be the imprisoning war. Let me see something. Let me think about this. Link goes back. You know something? You know what's so funny? Now that I think about the imprisoning war, that can still be the real Link. That can still be the real Link. You know why? Because if Link, this game, the imprisoning war has to happen before Twilight Princess. Because remember, Ganon is in prison. Then when you play in the Twilight Princess, you see Ganon break free from his imprisonment.
Yeah.
So if that's going to be the case, this has to happen. This game would take place, if this is an imprisoning war, it would take place right after Majora's Mask, but before Twilight Princess. And what happens here is that this Link has to somehow be disposed of. If this is the imprisoning war, Link has to become a martyr somehow. They don't have to kill Link, but they have to find a way to dispose of Link. And then it's up to the
just like
sage.
sort of just like put him off somewhere else, not even necessarily kill him, which
Yes.
actually could bring in the Soul Calibur storyline, Whereas he got taken
Oh,
out.
that's perfect.
Well,
Oh, nice.
or Link's Awakening.
That's why he's
No, 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 no,
GBGIMU.
no.
Now, Link's Awakening would have to
That's
happen
that's
way later.
that's way later. But that's a perfect thing right there. Ganon uses the Triforce, right? Because remember, he gets the Triforce and he sends Link to an alternate realm, and he goes to Soul Calibur. Then that
Okay,
will bridge the games.
you people are
That
blowing my mind right now.
that would
Too
bridge
much
the
time bending.
games.
This is
No,
awesome.
this is godlike. There's nothing wrong with this, man.
Yes.
Okay, if you
Dude,
I
guys
can't
wanted
have
to
this
know,
conversation without the timeline in front of me. I'm sorry. We got to restart this.
if you guys want to know, I do have the
I
Hyrule
kinda figure
Historia
on that,
open in
Shadow.
front of me right now. I have the
Well,
Hyrule
Well,
Historia open. I
You
mean, I
can't use
needed this book.
Hyrule Historia for any of it.
unfortunately, the only thing I don't like about the Hyrule Historia is it's not that it's incorrect because it isn't. It's just it's misrepresenting the timeline because
Mm.
Hyrule Historia is representing alternate realities, not timelines. There is no such thing as timeline. There's always a timeline. There are no plurals to it. The timeline may break, but it eventually comes back. Anyone's played the Legacy of King Soul Reaver?
Yeah, and
Yes.
I remember your
I
talk on
remember
the
that
level.
one.
So
That one on level was beautiful. Mm.
now, no matter how many times Raziel or Cain has gone back in time or forward in time, at the end result of time always remains the same. Even Morbius said it. No matter what you try to do, Cain, Raziel will become one with that sword. That is the end of it. You can change everything in the middle, but the beginning and the end will always remain the same. Destiny is what happens in your life. Your fate is the end. You cannot change the end. Your end will always be the end. You, our fate is to die. We are all going to die. We cannot change our fate. We can prolong it. There's even a part where Cain even says, "Have all I've done was delay the inevitable." But
Yep.
the inevitable is the inevitable. It is going to happen. You can stretch it no matter what. There's no such thing as people who cannot die. You have immortals. Immortals simply mean you don't die the age of a mortal, but you will die eventually.
Mm.
So with that being said, no matter the ending of the timeline will always be Zelda 2. The beginning will always be Skyward Sword going into Ocarina of Time. The timeline splits off in Ocarina of Time because in Ocarina of Time it shows you the timeline got split because um, you were put in the Temple of Time, and the main part of Hyrule went on without Link, and then the future of the alternate timeline with of Hyrule has Link in it, which then breaks off into Wind Waker, which then Wind Waker's past is what happens in the alternate timeline of Hyrule versus the original timeline where Link disappears. But
Yeah, he
Zelda
doesn't
sends
show
Link
up.
yeah, but Zelda sends Link back to his timeline in the end of 64 of Ocarina of Time. And he comes back with the Triforce and he warns Zelda of what Ganon's gonna do. And that was the paradox that changed the rock in the ocean that created a ripple because the time was supposed to be this. Ganon was supposed to trick the king of Hyrule, but because Link came back in time with information of what happened in the future and he warned Zelda and she warned her father, that changed the main timeline. So everything happens. So now that Zelda knows what's going to happen, she warns her father. Her father then says, "No, uh, we're not working with Ganon." Zelda then gives Link her Ocarina. Link then goes gets Epona early, takes Epona into the forest, gets lost, falls in Termia. While he is gone now, a whole bunch of stuff happens. Oh no 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 no! Because you know why? The imprisoning war has to happen when Link is gone. So that guy can't be Link.
Mm.
That can't be Link.
Or
That has
does the imprisoning war happen in
that,
the future at the end when she sends Link
no.
back?
The imprisoning war in the main timeline happens when Link is not around. The only
When
time in the
he's
main
supposed to be in
timeline Link
Termina.
is when he's in
Termina.
Termia. That is the only time Link is not around. So this new Link now has to be like um, a different Link. It has to be like a knight of Hyrule who that's why I said I was telling everyone he can masquerade a story. Link can masquerade a story. Well, this character can masquerade a story to keep hope in Hyrule that Link has not been destroyed or dead. This guy is being an imposter and
Mm-hmm.
acting as if he's Link, but he's not. He puts
More or
on the
less,
tunic.
he's picked up the role to keep people.
Yes. To
Right.
keep the hope in Hyrule alive. So Zelda knows that's not Link, but Zelda's infinite wisdom is like, I'm going to work with this guy to help fight back against Ganon. This way, this particular Link can die as a martyr.
Like Link's uncle in Link to the Past, because he was real close
Yup.
to Zelda and her family too.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that, in a sense, that can be like one of Link's. That could just
a
be
cousin or something.
a cousin or something like that. And that would be kind of great if Nintendo did that, because if Nintendo did that, then it would kind of actually,
But then they don't
something.
die until it's Link's
Nah,
turn to rise.
you know why that's got to be Link? No, that's why that doesn't have to be Link. You know who that could be? Remember the light spirit that visits Link, who the Link before Link.
Oh,
You mean the one
you're
with
talking about the Hero Shade.
Yeah.
You talking about the Hero Shade?
Wait, no. The Hero of Shade is the Hero of Shade. Oh, what am I talking about? I'm over here. That could be the Hero of Shade. And see, in Twilight Princess, he's a spirit, so that he would have to have died. And the reason why he's called the Hero of Shade is because this is perhaps the hero that was in the imprisoning war during the dark times. That's why he's called the Hero of Shade. Shade, shadow, the darkest time of Hyrule, and he was there to help during the imprisoning war. Which would make sense, because then the Hero of Shade probably dies in this new Zelda coming up, which is probably the end of the imprisoning war.
Damn.
A lot of
then when
brain
Link
busting
comes,
theories there, but
when Link comes back from Termia, and now he starts his adventure in Twilight Princess, and then he meets the Hero of Shade. And the Hero of Shade talks to him, because the Hero of Shade talks to Link about the darkest time in Hyrule and how they sealed Ganon. So that would make a whole lot of sense. That bridges the storyline.
God.
Wow.
it does.
I would just like to take this opportunity to say that, just as I said before, I've got a Hyrule story open in front of me, and there's only two things that can make me be reading at 2 a.m. in the morning. And that's a really important exam and Triforce Johnson talking Zelda. So,
But going back to the Hyrule Historia, the Hyrule Historia isn't incorrect. It's misrepresented. If you're talking about alternate realities, Hyrule Historia makes a lot of sense. But if you're talking about multiple timelines, it is incorrect. There are no such thing as multiple timelines, because all three of those timelines have a different ending, and time doesn't work. Well, the theory of time does not work that way. The ending will all be the same, and that's why it is wrong. And then all this thing about the hero of men and the hero of shade and the hero of child and the hero of adolescence and all this other nonsense, like, so I'm like, yo, I just wish Nintendo did not give these guys the rights to publish the book. Like, come on, man. They could have just came to me and said, Triforce, man. You do us a solid. I'd have done that for them for free. That's kind of so. I was so tight. I was like, come on. And then I was so happy when Nintendo said there is no official timeline, because I said, yes, thank you. Now we can leave it to open interpretation. But when they made that book, man, I was tight. I was so tight. You don't understand.
Yeah,
You know, I didn't buy the book.
you didn't? Okay.
Nope. I can't support it, man. I just can't. No offense, I just can't support that book. Because I'm a big Zelda fan, so I was offended by the book.
Oh, all right. I understand.
I'm guessing it's more or less because of the notion that they know what the timeline is and they just threw it together.
Exactly.
A lot of
Now,
assumptions.
first of all, here's what's even worse. There was no integrity behind the book, and I'll say this: a lot of people are like, "Wow, Triforce, come on, that's a little bit too much to say." There's no integrity behind the book. Really? I can say that for one simple reason. And I don't want to compare my timeline theory to theirs, but let's be realistic here, people. Their timeline theory has so many holes. If there are that many holes in their theories, in their very same book, why did they allow it to be published? They allowed it to be published strictly for business. And that right there has corrupted the integrity of the game's story, because I would not, if I had a timeline and I made it and my timeline had holes in it, I'd be like, nah, I'm not gonna back something that still has a lot of questions. It needs to be irrefutable before I'm gonna push it. Now my timeline, which is still a theory in no book, makes far more sense and has a lot more continuity than that book, but there's no published book about it.
Well, going along a previous thing that I had heard, another theory, is that each one of these Zelda games had no intention of ever being linked together at the time of their creation.
That's not a theory. That's not a theory. That's facts. That's
Yeah,
facts.
and they were never supposed to be. They were never supposed to be linked together, with the exception of I guess the first two
Zelda
being
1 and
directly. Yeah, and I think that was more Nintendo of America than it was Nintendo of Japan. They just kind of there were similar names and themes, and they linked all that stuff together. And then after a while, it started catching on, so they started making more, I guess, myth out of it. And
they left it to open interpretation to see if the community can link the games.
Yeah.
Did they do that purposely? No, but I do know that they did leave it to open interpretation, and the fans have literally gone through all the Zelda games and have put them together. And if you look at how we put them together, it's seamless. All the games do connect. Even the Dynasty Warrior games that they're gonna say, well, now this has nothing to do with it. That connects.
Yeah, because I had heard someone, though I can't remember who, saying that Hyrule Warriors is not canon. So
the only game that seems to directly address the whole canon issue is Skyward Sword. And I think that was probably from demand, because everybody wanted to know the timeline. So they're like, hey, well, this is going to be the first game, or one of the first, and here's why. And then they put a major plot point in there that tells way more about the story than we ever knew. So
I'm sorry. Go on.
I'm no there in that game. I've never seen another Zelda game just sit there and just kind of like lay everything out in that way or in that fashion. Like all the other games are a little cryptic here and there, and there are actions that you do in the game, right? That are noted as part of the timeline, but they're never really written for you to read per se, but you did that action, and therefore, hey, you have this ending, and you have this ending because you did this action, instead of, hey, I'm going to tell you the entire story of why I'm here and why I'm doing this and why I'm doing that, or why you're going to do this and why you're going to do that, and oh, by the way, I represent this, and oh, by the way, you represent this. None of that was really completely spelled out 100%, with the exception of maybe a manual here and there, or like some cryptic messages in in some of the text that they had in like Link to the Past or something like that.
Exactly. I mean, if I ever did meet someone who had never played a Zelda game before, who knows nothing about the franchise, the series, wants to get into it, based on the story alone presented in Skyward Sword, I would tell them play Skyward Sword personally, because
it spells everything out.
It spells everything out. It does such a good job telling you, okay, this is the first game. This is where it began. So, yeah.
Plus, if that's the first game they play, then that makes the first 2 to 3 hours tolerable, because it's really hard to plod through otherwise.
I will tell you one thing. I don't know. Last year when I went to E3, I spoke to EG and I asked EG he should create The Legend of Zelda Order of Time, where there's a main game where the entire point of the game is for Link to gather the 8 pieces of Link's spirit to form the Prime Link. the main spirit of Link that keeps getting reincarnated into the new Links that come around throughout the entire age of the entire Zelda timeline. And Ganon, whose power cannot be destroyed, which, if people wanted to ever know how I found out whether or not The Legend of Zelda existed in one timeline, it was very simple. I didn't dawn on it until I read the Infinity Gauntlet with Thanos. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Infinity Gauntlet gave me the keys to The Legend of Zelda. When Adam Warlock said, power cannot be destroyed, only contained. And I started to look at Ganon in every Zelda game. And if you ever notice something, Ganon knows who Link is in every game. Plus, if this was alternate timelines, then that means Ganon is destroyed. But Ganon has a Triforce of power. He can never be destroyed, only contained. So if Ganon can only be contained, then that means Ganon would have to exist through all of the timelines. So there can only be one Ganon. Ganon does not get reincarnated. And then when Skyward Sword dropped, and we find out what Ganon's true origin is, Demise, what did Demise say? I will track you down throughout time.
Yep. Yeah. One thing I do want to bring up, just as a counterpoint to your point there about Ganon knowing every Link, is why does he always seem to meet him early in the adventure and let him live, knowing that he's a primary threat to his existence?
Because that's his destiny. They're bound, man. They're bound. Like his
okay. Well, not take.
No, I think he's more or less going on the route of, if I know that later on you will beat me, why not take you out now?
Exactly. Take Wind Waker for example. Wind Waker,
because they need each other.
Wind Waker, he sets the bird on him. And literally. Hold
on. There's an easy way to explain this.
All right.
In order to, the Triforce of Courage is not something you can go and pick up at a store, find in a treasure chest, or found in some type of world. The Triforce of Courage is only found when Link finds it.
Exactly.
So Link has to live. Yes, Ganon has to cultivate Link to live to get the Triforce of Courage. Then he has to kill Link and take it from him. That is the ultimate story for Nintendo, to keep allowing Ganon to let Link live. That is the ultimate plot hole.
Then he can do that. He can do that, either marry or kill Zelda, and then he'll have all three of them. And then that's
because at the beginning of Wind Waker, when the bird gets Link, right, you actively see Ganon just say, "Throw him away." I'm like, dude, why? Kill him. That was my main reaction. I'm like, why the hell are you throwing this dude away?
Thinking about the whole Triforce thing, that actually does make a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I know. But at the moment in time, I'm like,
why didn't you just dispose of him?
I'm like, this right here. I was literally thinking to myself, this right here is a premium Bond villain moment. You're gonna let this get away to come back and defeat you later. Yeah.
Now, if you play the beginning of the game and it's only Link or whoever or Link that has already found his courage and he's on his way to go find Ganon, then he's going to attempt to kill you then, because now he can take you.
Every time Link gets a Triforce of Courage, that's when Ganon tries to kill him. Yeah. Ganon never tries to kill Link when he doesn't have it. Name a game he ever did.
True. Yeah.
That's right. He doesn't ever go after him until it's activated.
Never really thought about it that way, but it explains it.
And if you think about it, he had it the whole time in the very first game.
Yes, he did. But it's funny though, because like when you play Ocarina of Time, the reason why Ganon does not even kill Link, because when Link had the Triforce then, is because he couldn't find where the Triforce of Wisdom was, and he let Link live long enough to draw out Zelda. And once she turned into Zelda, and Ganon was like, oh, there it is. Bing, put it in that crystal, and it's like, thank you, Link. If you want Zelda, because now I got the Triforce of Wisdom and power, you can meet me at my castle where I can kill you and then form all three Triforces. And then when Link comes upstairs and he's playing on his organ, he goes, these toys are not for children. Oh,
Yep.
Ganon is godlike.
Yep.
Oh, Ganon is
So,
ridiculous.
actually, Wind Waker would be the closest he's ever been to achieving his goal. Because there he actually reforms the Triforce, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he does. And
Well, he reformed it in Link to the Past too.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did reform it in Link to the Past. Otherwise, there probably would have never been a Golden Land.
Right,
Yeah.
true. I mean, in terms of
No,
close...
no. The Golden Land was formed during the imprisoning war.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right. It was formed then.
during this Dynasty Warriors game or the new Zelda game, the Last Shards of Shadows or whatever the name of the title is. I don't even know what the full exact title is. But whatever the case that game is, and I really hope that Zelda game that they're making for the Wii U is the sequel to Twilight Princess. And I hope the Dynasty Warrior game plays more of the role of the imprisoning war. I really think the Dynasty Warrior game is canon. I think it's the imprisoning war. I don't think that's the real Link. I think that's the hero of the hero of Shade. I really think that's the hero of Shade. I think the other Link is still has not returned from Termia yet, and the hero of Shade is going to sacrifice himself to to put Ganon in a position where the sages can seal Ganon up. That's just me. I put money to it.
Can anyone remember what the skeleton from Skyward Sword, what he was wearing? What his clothes or any semblance of clothes was on him? Because if you see any piece of what Link is wearing, well, that guy from Hyrule Warriors is wearing, maybe the scarf, then that would be 100% confirmed.
I'm wondering though, because I'm wondering if it could be even before the imprisoning war though, because when was the last time Link and Zelda fought side by side?
But see, that's
That
the
would have
thing.
been
That's
Twilight
the thing.
Princess.
It was before everybody went to the sky.
That's the thing. I don't think, like I said, I don't think that is Link fighting side by side with Zelda. Remember, there's been many men who have donned that uniform Link has donned. He's not the only one to don it. And in a time where Link is missing, and without Link, a guy looking like Link running around. Remember, in Wind Waker, they even explain it, that before that Link, which is the real Link, there were others that donned the uniform, which is funny because, like,
upon their age,
upon their age, it's funny about Wind Waker because Link meets himself when he goes on the Palace of the Gods. That statue is him,
because he was the hero of the time.
exactly. Which it's funny because Legacy of Kain has helped me really truly understand, and they got the new Nosgoth game that comes out. But like, I can't wait till they make the next Legacy of Kain, because that game is ridiculous.
I'm so looking forward to that.
That game that's another gem. That's another gem, man.
I kind of like the one Silicon Knights did. I just don't know what they can't really do anything anymore right now. So, but they did pretty good with Legacy of Kain.
Yep.
Some guys like hold on for a second. You'd be surprised what media you'd be surprised what type of influence has on people.
Oh, are you really talking to this fool? Man,
No,
stop.
I'm talking to someone else.
No,
I was going to say,
no,
like, oh, okay.
no. When I see you
Dismissed
guys
him
in the
already.
industry,
Oh man.
nah, man, come on.
Can we all just agree how much we're looking forward to the next Zelda timeline altering game where they travel back to 1885 and it's a Western Legend of Zelda?
Well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, if
Let's
there's,
do Redemption how it's done.
if there's one thing I know about the Zelda fan base is that if that ever happened, they would burn the nearest house down to the ground.
I'd play it.
Hey,
but
do
you
y'all
gotta
know
think
who he's
of.
replying to? Do you know who he's replying to right now?
No clue.
Nope.
And I quote, "You realize you pretty much said Michael Pachter is the most powerful man in gaming, right?"
I just said to
Oh
him, I said,
gosh.
Who do
so
you
I
think would have
replied to
said
this.
something like that?
Oh
Wait a
god.
minute.
Oh boy.
Black Bond?
Quack.
Some guy called
Wait,
Black
what?
Bonds. Black
Oh
Oh my
Bonds.
God.
gosh.
Why you guys know him?
Don't address him.
Don't
Oh
It's
God.
not worth it.
He's way
Don't
beneath you.
let him use
No, no,
you to get fame.
He's
Don't do
trying
it.
to get.
no,
He's
no,
trying
no,
to
no,
get.
no,
Don't.
no, no, no.
Don't.
I,
He's trying to go on an
Telling you.
ego trip. Don't do it.
no, no.
Don't do it.
I'm talking to Michael Patrick. I said, I
long as it's
answered Black
him,
Bond.
That's
I
fine.
said you'd be surprised what type of influence a mainstream media has on people. And I
But
said,
you're
oh,
replying to him. Take him out your feed. You're giving.
no,
You're
no,
giving
no,
him.
No,
that's why I
Black Bond
said
is trying.
Black Bond tried to say something to me, but I mentioned that because I'm not gonna feed into him. I just said, oh, and Michael, sorry for going in so hard. You don't know me. I got carried away on this podcast, but I'll still destroy you in any game. Still.
So yeah, leave it at that because
Alright, cool.
he would try to hop on you and use you to boost his
Yeah.
YouTube rating, and that's not a good way to go, man.
Because you already replied to him. You replied to him like 4 times already, and he's
Oh.
he's eating that
If
up.
it says at and his name is there, then he's going to see it. That's
And look, here go his little buddies. So
Wait a
I
minute,
do, is
4
it continuous
times?
to flop?
Hold on. Triforce sent 4 tweets. Half-Life 4 confirmed.
So
we literally have 3. What the heck you talking about 4?
Well, you know what?
Hey,
That
he's-
actually makes
We skipped one. That's how epic this podcast is.
that actually makes perfect sense because Valve doesn't know how to count to 3, so just skip on over to 4 and be done with
Okay.
it.
Okay. But before we got there, where Jim was talking about how people would burn down the nearest Nintendo office, I was going to say people got to think of The Legend of Zelda as far as time goes, like the movie Time Machine. It probably wasn't a really highly rated movie, but it brought up one interesting concept, and that is if you go forward enough in time, it resets itself. And I think we talked about that after a podcast another time.
Yeah, we did.
It repeats itself, and it's been pointed out that in the Legend of Zelda there is technology. It's just it's at a rebirth, whereas it's more like something happened, which Skyward Sword kind of tells you that as well. Something happens that resets everything, and we're basically from Skyward Sword forward playing after the reset.
I mean, if you look at mankind itself, there's a lot of stuff that happened now past that's questionable, and we leave it at that.
Well, if you look at Link to the Past too, there is a lot of futuristic things in that game. Also, I mean, just to mention of the hook shot itself, and then there's some things in some of the dungeons. I mean, there's like railways. There's
there's way too many mechanical
diamond
devices that are-
lasers and things like that weren't around otherwise.
Actually, now going back to that trailer for the new one, we have the arrow, and we have the sentinel or whatever is chasing Link. Both of those things seem to have high technology based components in them. So wherever this is, whenever it takes place, it's somewhere where we have either ancient technology or a resurgence of technology being used by that generation of people. So yeah. Whatever it is, I'm interested to see whatever it is, man. I honestly do not care where
I'm
they put this
definitely
game.
interested.
Yo, why is this guy still talking to me? I just asked. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. I said I have no idea who you are and what your name is, and I left him a YouTube video. Why is he still speaking to me?
You talking about Black Bond?
Yeah,
He's just gonna keep doing it.
Ignore him.
Look at my last tweet.
Let me tell you something about Blackburn, because we've all had interactions with him. I've had many YouTube discussions with him before. And the thing is, I've linked things to him as proof, like, this is why you're wrong, this is exactly why you're wrong. And I've had him, just moments later, link the exact same thing back to me, saying it proves a different argument, which in itself proves the exact same thing I've already said, and he's done this multiple times. And there are so many other examples. It's just ridiculous. I have no idea what drives the man.
The very definition of the cyclic argument, that'll happen over and over again, whether he's right or wrong. It's like, I just want to repeat the argument. I just want to repeat the argument. I just want to repeat the argument. That's what you do.
So basically, Triforce, man, don't let this guy.
Don't let him draw you in.
you guys-
All he's
can you
gonna
guys-
do is.
Can you guys tell him? Can you guys do this? Do a favor, Abi, tell him I told you guys that after my last tweet, I blocked him. I don't think he knows.
Well, we're still live, so I think he heard.
Yeah, pretty sure. I'm sure he's
He's
listening.
probably listening.
Wait a minute.
right
Wait a
now
minute.
because I'm
Triforce,
very
you
sure.
can't afford to block him because black people are the problem with YouTube, and we can't afford to go on vacation.
Gosh,
I'm
let's
sorry.
run back in on that.
After
Man.
after I
What?
post after I post, I don't know who you are, what your name is. I put the Rock video and it
I
said,
know.
"What's your name again?" And he was like, "It doesn't matter what your name." And I remember that.
But and I'm probably going to get blasted for this because I'm the unknown that usually doesn't talk about them, but it's not worth it. Don't waste your time on them. It's definitely not worth it.
He's basically trying to piggyback off of your popularity and
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can
It
get
is.
more hits and views.
First
and grow.
thing we're gonna hear, first thing that we'll probably see a video on is Triforce Johnson is ignorant and thinks that Michael Pachter is a god in the gaming industry. Quote me on that, and it might happen.
Well, see,
Here's
thing,
the reality.
this
He's
is
trying
the
to
thing.
figure out how he got how you got on the podcast with us, and we have way less subscribers than him.
Well,
Number one.
the thing is, this is why I don't like. I've been in so many system war arguments when I was a younger when I was younger that it is very. I don't believe it or not, and it's kind of fun, guys. But honestly, and I'm not trying to insult your podcast, but please try to understand where I'm coming from. I actually don't find any enjoyment discussing the business affairs of these video game companies, including Nintendo, because that guy the with the Blanca head, I don't even know his name, the one Glenn who was talking to me, he has a point, and I actually agree with him on his point. I'm not an industry expert. I have a natural equilibrium with the industry because of watching it from the outside. So I kind of understand what the industry is about. I have an ideal what it is about. But the reality is I don't care, to be very honest. What matters to me is the quality games that they put out, and I get to enjoy. And so for me, like when the guy says, "Come on," he just wants to hear Triforce talk about the Zelda timeline. That things like that is what I am interested in. The thing is, it's like type podcasts like these that talk about the industry doesn't really do anything, because at the end of the day, everyone has their opinion, and people look at us as gamers and they write us off as like, what do they know? Which is that is the dumbest thing in the world, because we are the consumers, and the consumers know more than anyone.
Mhm.
And anything. There's no analyst that knows more than us, especially when some of us are really like, we're connoisseurs. We're not just consumers. We've been playing this the majority of our lives. We've been using these products the majority of our lives. When a couple of these guys just come in, look at a couple of analytics and put together some garbage and then say this is what it is, when it's nonsense. So, like for me, I don't like to get into those wars, because you have guys like Glenn who's going to come and say, "Well, you're no expert," but then the
He isn't
question,
either because the question was about
thank
Nintendo,
you.
and he hasn't made a Nintendo game.
And Triforce, you make a
Who
good
has
point, and that's the thing. We're gamers first and foremost, and it's about having fun and enjoying ourselves. These pointless arguments are irrelevant. I agree with you on that.
it
Something we've
really
been saying for a while.
people try to goad me to say negative things about Sony and Microsoft, and the reality is that those guys aren't bad. They make some solid games.
Yes, they
Now,
do.
are
Mhm.
their games better than Nintendo? No, but they
No.
don't. Their games don't suck. I'm like, we all have our preferences. It depends on what we like. Some people are gonna like Nintendo games more than others. Some people are gonna like Sony games more than others. Some people are gonna like Microsoft games more than others. But as long as we all like the games that we're playing, then what's the problem?
Mhm.
Oh,
And the thing,
oh my gosh! You should have
A
seen my
false
last video that
The,
asked that
the
question.
person that you're talking to has a lot of problems because apparently we can't be happy with what we do.
no, but the industry, the conflict in the industry in terms of the amount of games that's being put out, the fact that there's a three-way well, it's really a two-way war because Nintendo doesn't care. But like the fact that there's three competitors in the scene has created which is supposed to be the greatest time in gaming. I don't understand why we're not in the greatest time in gaming because we're in an era that's supposed to be better than the Super Nintendo and Genesis. We have variety. That's something we didn't necessarily have back then. We have
Right.
variety, we have technology, we have innovation, and then they found a way through technology to bridge us to play games socially more than any other time in the history of the 60 years in game. Well, is it 60 years? 1952, blah, blah, 50, 40. No, oh, okay, close to 50 years in gaming, right? 50 plus years in gaming. So I don't understand why we can't just allow, I can't understand why we can't just allow not competitive gaming, the video game industry to be what it is. Like I want to play games on the Xbox One, and I want to play games on the Nintendo Wii U, and I want to play games on the PS4 and so forth. I don't see the problem why I can't play. One second, hold on for a second.
All right.
I
I
am
don't see.
so happy that you're saying this right now. I'm glad you're saying it right now.
Very
You
good
drive the
point.
points home. I just
That's-
did a video
That's the
about
whole
how
reason.
it's
gamers
about
at large
playing
came to be.
games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you someone asked me, Triforce, what's your thoughts about E3, right? So I said, what do you mean by what's my thoughts about E3? When you went there, what do you thought about the convention? And you know what I was proud to actually say? Like, this is crazy. I said, I don't know. This year in E3, I wasn't able to really I wasn't really able to really enjoy what all of E3 had to offer. And they said, why? I was like, I was too busy playing games at Nintendo's booth.
Hey, I would have been right there with you.
Yeah. I remember hearing you
Well,
talk
to
about
me,
live
well,
level podcast.
to me, that means you got everything E3 had to offer because that's what it was designed. Well, what it should have been designed for anyway.
Mhm.
Because
About playing and experiencing games and looking forward to what's coming down the pipeline.
Yep.
Yep.
so they have these for the retailers to go because the retailers are supposed to be selling the games because they're fun. So they're supposed to be saying, "Oh, well, this game's really fun. We should buy a whole bunch of these and put them in our store." And then they go to their store. They say, "Hey, look, I bought a whole bunch of these. You should get these games from me. They're really good. We played them at E3 a couple months ago. Buy it." That's
You
the way
see-
it's supposed to work.
I have a direct answer, I think, to your query about why now, in all the time of gaming, 50-something odd years, why do we have this dissension, you could say, between, the console makers and fans and so forth, and gamers in general? It's the internet era. The internet era facilitates all of this because now you can instantly spread your drivel almost worldwide. Instantly, you
Remember
can
before
affect
you
persons.
you can really
Yeah.
do that in middle school and high school back when you were growing
Exactly.
up or whatever. Because if you popped off in the mouth too much, now you got to fight 8 people.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
much,
easy,
pretty
it's
much.
easy to talk smack from a distance, so everybody got to voice their
The
opinion.
internet
Now,
era
Yep.
does that, and now you have anonymity adding to that problem where
Or so they think.
there are no. I know you're dangerous, man. I know you're dangerous,
concept
Shadow.
right
You're very dangerous, Shadow. I'm not even going around you with that. But supposed internet anonymity. Let me say that, and there are no ramifications for what you say, and there's nothing for what you're saying. You get away with it scotch-free, supposedly, and that's pretty much all it is. And now you have people piggybacking off of that because before the entire world is connected and you can speak to anyone anywhere in a matter of seconds, provided you know how to contact them. Prior to this, there was no way anyone could spread their miserableness quite as effectively, but now they
Yeah.
can. So
And I think I think we are in the worst era of gaming because of that. Well, the most miserable era of gaming because everyone
Social
now has an
garbage.
opinion and they can just voice their opinion and then they try to, like, as an OG, I really don't care. Like, I really don't care. Like, Triforce. So do you think Nintendo, do you think the Microsoft game that they have here is going to be better than the Nintendo? I don't care. Like, do you like the Microsoft game? Yeah, good.
Is it
Keep
good?
moving.
You know, one of the saddest conversations I had with somebody was, they're like, "You got that Mario Kart 8 game?" And I said, "Yeah." Said, "Why are you playing a Nintendo game?" I was like,
So,
"Because it's
alright,
fun. Why do you
correct
play
me if
video
I'm
games?"
wrong.
And he's like, "I play Xbox to win." And I'm like, "So,
What?
But
so
you're
you
not a
buy,
competitive
Wait,
gamer.
so you
wait,
buy debug
stop, Shadow,
codes? I
Shadow,
mean, you
wait,
got a game genie? What's up?"
wait. So he's
He
saying that
plays
he plays
plays Xbox to
Xbox to
win.
win.
Quoted. Quoted.
Okay, I don't usually curse online, but what the fuck?
Quoted.
That
This doesn't
sounds
make any
stupid
sense.
to me. I
Wow.
play Xbox to win. Oh God.
Wow. You know, I think on that note, because we've been at this for a while, I'm gonna throw out the surprise topic, which is a short, fun topic. We're gonna wrap it up. Sound good to
Oh
everybody?
god.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
good. Cause I'm sorry, that just man, that's
Wow.
comical.
I'm
I play Xbox to win.
oh, good.
All right. So the bonus topic is based on me recently completing Skyward Sword yesterday. Who is your favorite non-Ganon Zelda boss throughout the entire series?
Ganon.
God, man.
You
Non-Ganon.
said
Cannot be
non-Ganon.
Ganon.
Outside of Ganon.
Then Ganon.
I'll give you a hint. He's really creepy.
Oh, okay. So not
it's-
demise, but his sword.
You talking about Gary?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's whack.
Mr.
Yeah, because Giram is a boss, man. Man's a straight boss. I mean, in all of the history of Zelda.
And he
I'm
actually
gonna be-
tested you too. He
Exactly.
tested you the
He
entire
tried to
game.
molest. He tried to molest Link. Like,
Wait.
are you
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. All the history of Zelda. I'm talking about facial expression now, and of course, there's going to be limitations based on technical limitations.
He
throughout
tried to
the
lick.
years.
He tried to
But-
lick Link's ear.
But
But
in
it makes
all
sense
of the
now.
history
He's a
of
sword.
Zelda,
He's the one character in Zelda that makes me question sometimes what they were thinking.
wait, man. In all the history of Zelda and all the giant monsters you fought, dragons and giant skeletons and every monstrosity the imagination can imagine, you have
Actually-
never seen
Link
Link
that
show
scared.
that amount of fear.
I know one boss Link feared the most, and that's represented through us as the player. Like, I don't care what nobody says. The two games he showed up in about a couple of games, but the two games that he like scared me the most. And this is real talk. And you have to think, you have to act as if you're Link. Because they didn't in Skyward Sword they really expressed how Link interacted with people. In the other games they really didn't express how he interacted with people, but there were instances in the games. One of them is Zelda 2, but it's an 8-bit game and you really couldn't see Link's reaction in the game. But when you had to fight that person, you yourself was like, what? And you were shocked. But in Ocarina of Time, in the Water
Shadow
Temple,
Link.
Shadow Link.
Yes,
Link.
As I
Shadow
said, it
Link.
had to be Shadow Link.
when you walked into
When he was
that-
on that tree.
when you walked into the mirror room and you was like, what's that? And you walked up and you were getting closer and you're like, what the hell? And his red eyes open. Come on, tell me you were not scared. You weren't like, oh, like, can you imagine you fighting your shadow that opened his eyes and is looking at you? Come on, man. And then he's
Alright,
balancing
yeah.
himself
I give
on
you
your
that.
sword. Like,
It freaked me out only because I played Zelda 2 first. Probably everybody that didn't
Yup.
probably didn't freak them out as much.
Exactly. If you played Zelda 2 first and then you played Ocarina of Time, because when I saw him in Ocarina of Time, as I was getting closer, I was like, what is that? And I was like, because it dawned in my mind before he even opened his eye. I was like, wait, no, that can't be. And when he opened his eye, I got scared shitless. So I'm gonna keep it real. I got scared. I was like, oh no, and I was like, oh man. The first thing that went up, like, because the first thing that went up was my shield. I didn't attack him. I instinctively, on a psychological level, lift up my shield. That's fear. That's fear on a psychological level. when I see
True.
what's this, when I see this moron in Skyward Sword, I'm not scared. I actually just want to beat the, cause like he's creepy. He's like that old man from Family Guy. You know, that's how I see him. Like I'm like, come on, man. He's sitting here talking about you want to play basketball, Sonny? Like, go. I just want to smash his face in. Like he's more creepy, not fear, but like Dark Link. Nah, man.
I was done with Dark Link in Ocarina of Time when he stood on top of my sword while I was trying to
that
stab him.
pissed me
No.
off.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I hated that. You go for that thrust and he just jumps on the blade. It ticked me
Dark
the
Link
hell
is
off.
ridiculous, Speed. Yo, you know what would be godlike in the new Zelda game? If
I was just thinking that.
if somehow you control your shadow version of Link and it's like a 2-player game and you use your shadow on the Wii U pad to get in cracks in the walls, much like what they do for Link Between Worlds to help you solve puzzles.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
That
wow.
would be cool. I was thinking
Wow.
more or less just fighting Dark Link, but that's actually a good expansion that way.
On the point of the whole fear thing, I have to agree with you with with Dark Link. But for me personally, the fear didn't really come. The fear was immediate for you. It didn't really come in for the fight. It will until they started fighting for me. But with Girahim, we have a whole different level of fear. We have the fear of mortality because Girahim is essentially the first major boss you fight. First major bosses are they're pushovers, right? Generally. But then I start fighting, and this guy holds my sword, and he takes it from me, and I'm like, what the fuck? That was my reaction. I was like, this dude took my sword. Like, what the hell? Right? That was like a new level of fear there for me, because I was like, holy shit. I'm sorry.
You want to know a new level of fear? Worst boss fight, hardest boss, most awe-inspiring, horrifying boss fight. Ocarina of Time, Water Temple.
No, that's
The temple, not the boss, just the temple.
Oh,
Water
okay, the
temple
temple.
got
itself.
I feel like
I'm sorry,
got that beat.
but I'm sorry.
every water level in any Nintendo game is always the worst. No one likes
that
I don't get it though.
Legend.
When I play Legend of Zelda and I get to any water temple in any Legend of Zelda game, I breeze through it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, I would like to add something there. The water temple in Skyward Sword actually wasn't that bad. In my opinion.
No, not at all.
No,
I
if you,
guess-
you mean if you play the 3DS one where you can just freaking put on your shoes anytime, but like 60, the one on the 64 was kind of annoying.
All I gotta say is-
It was a bit of an annoyance to keep swapping the shoes, but I mean, honestly, that didn't really stop me though.
It didn't annoy me because I knew exactly what they were trying to do because I had come from playing Link to the Past and I played the Ice Temple. It's the same logic. They just expand upon it in 3D. It's like, hey, you gotta set this and then you gotta set this and you gotta layer this on top of this so you can go here. And you can't go here if you don't go here first and then hit this and then hit this. And then you go all the way to the top and start over.
Let me ask you guys a question. When you played Zelda 2 and you made it to the Great Palace and you were walking on the bridges and the big blue blob just appears out of nowhere and fall on you, did that ever scare you off for the first time?
Yes.
It scared me. The giant.
Well, it
thing.
helps that I was a little kid at the time too. But yeah.
When the first time it happened to me, I screamed like a little girl, and my father came in the room and said, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Dad, this thing popped out of here."
It scared me. I'm like, dang, I didn't know the game could do sprites that big.
Yo, for real.
What freaked me out for a while was the Guardian before you fight Dark Link, because it's like a headless freaking spirit.
No, that's Ganon. That's Ganon trapped in the Thunder Spirit casing. His Ganon's spirit's in that casing. They needed to kill Link and sacrifice his blood to bring back Ganon. But that guy that you're fighting, throwing the fires out of the top of his head, that's Ganon.
That's crazy.
So you fight Ganon before you fight Ganon.
I'm gonna have to replay Link. I gotta play that again now that I'm an adult.
Just to let you guys know, you can, as long as the Triforce of power exists, Ganon can never be destroyed. Ganon will just come back. The first time Ganon was ever completely, utterly destroyed is in Zelda 1.
Yeah, with the silver arrows.
The silver arrows completely destroys his body, and only his spirit lives. And they had to encase him. They had to encase him in the Thunderbird.
Carbonite. Oh, I was thinking Star Wars. Sorry.
Well, what you bring up there about the Triforce completely being destroyed, being the end of Ganon. I was about to say, why don't they do that? But then I remember that would mess everything up because
No.
you take a
A
world
Link
of
Between
Triforce
Worlds
away.
kind of tells you that much.
Yep,
No, no. That wouldn't mess anything up. You cannot destroy power. Power can be converted. Power can be contained, but you cannot destroy power. It's Power is energy. You cannot destroy energy. Black holes don't destroy energy. Black holes convert, stream, pulls down, all types of stuff, shrink, whatever, but it cannot completely wipe out energy. It doesn't work that way. That's not how power works. You can't destroy it. So that's why this is why the Legend of Zelda will be infinite. Uses the number three, the triangle effect. The power beats wisdom. Wisdom beats courage, but courage beats power. It will be an eternal adventure. It will be never ending. That's why, in a sense, Nintendo has to kind of change the format of like the battles. Like when they did A Link Between Worlds, Ganon wasn't really the main story here. The main story here was the circumstance that Lorule faced versus Hyrule. That's what made the game so great. It was a change of pace. Yes, it had everything to do with the world of Hyrule, everything to do with the Triforce, blah, 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 whatever the case may be, but it really wasn't about that. And that guy in Lorule is a prime example of there being another Link.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a prime example of there being another Link, which was godlike when you saw that Link with the black hair. I was like, oh, that's hot.
Too bad he was a coward for most of the game.
I knew someone was up with what was his name, Ravio?
Yeah, Ravio.
Yeah, Ravio. I knew someone was up with him. I'm like, what are you doing?
What is he doing in my house?
No, what are you doing all these items? I was like,
Get ready for a quest after you die.
It's like, why the hell is Nabbit in Zelda? I don't understand. Why is Nabbit in Zelda?
Why is what?
Nabbit, you're the Mario character.
The witch that looks like Nabbit.
Yeah, and just to let you guys know, there's the Easter egg about Link Between Worlds is that Link Between Worlds is in the main timeline, and you do know that the Link Between Worlds confirms something for me. When Link returns from Termia, and then you have, well, this is before the new games that we're about to see right now on the Wii U. So let's act like the Wii U games, the Hyrule Warriors and the new one that's coming out, doesn't exist. It's supposed to be, as I stated, it's supposed to be Ocarina of Time, main timeline. Then it's supposed to be Majora's Mask, and then from Majora's Mask, it's supposed to be what's the name of this thing here? Twilight Princess, and then after Twilight Princess is supposed to be
A Link to
the Past, which we all know that A Link Between Worlds is the sequel. But in the main timeline, the Majora's Mask is in Link's house.
Yep. Yes, it is. Yeah.
So the Link that returned from Termia came back with the Majora's Mask. That would make a whole lot of sense for the main timeline to stay the way it is. That's why this next Zelda game has to either be the direct sequel of Twilight Princess or the Imprisoning War, or Hyrule Warriors has to be an Imprisoning War. I refuse to believe that it's not. Hyrule Princess. Hyrule Warriors has to be the Imprisoning War. It would only make sense.
All right, guys. I think that'll about do it because we've been going for quite a while, to say the least.
How long have we been going? 2 hours?
No, we've
way
been
more
going,
than 2 hours.
We've been going Triforce. We've been going for like 4 hours, dude.
4 hours? What?
Yes.
Yes.
Guys, we having fun.
Well, it was a marathon, but it wasn't enjoyable.
I don't think I'm gonna go to sleep, dude. I'm just gonna stay up because if I go to sleep and then go to work, there's no way I'll wake up.
I need sleep. I need sleep. All right. But anyway, Triforce, you're more than welcome back anytime because obviously we have fun here.
Listen,
So
man, if you guys want to talk about Nintendo games, Nintendo lore, Contra, Castlevania, and all that type of stuff,
Oh
I'm
yes.
with it. But like,
Oh well,
and I
then,
don't.
You should
well,
join the Gamers at Large
Yeah.
podcast every now and again too.
that's
hold on, no. Let me be the first to invite you to the thing that I do then, which
Oh,
is the
okay.
Gamer Idea Foundry, where we speculate
Hmm.
about games and talk about game ideas. And this one I'm doing next will be Zelda based.
Oh, I'm in there.
Exciting.
I'm in there. In fact, you know something, just to let you guys know, I'm just waiting until after August. But by the end of the year, I have a project. I'm gonna set up a poll where I want to try to get at least seven. I want to get seven other people, and you know something. Let me save the secret. Just put it like this: I have a huge Zelda project I'm working on, and it
Oh,
requires
that's cool with
seven other people.
nice.
We're gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this up properly. But I have some things I have to finish up first in my competitive gaming field with Empire Arcadia, and because I want to put like I want to spend like a good 6 months on this project. I believe that I can make some big changes with the help of these seven people. But I know once I do it, it's gonna start some type of huge. It's gonna get serious, man. It's gonna get serious.
Why you
So
do
I'm
this to
waiting.
me? Why you do this to me, Triforce? Now I won't be able to go to sleep because my mind is like, yo, this is hype.
he's but you know it's a good thing for you. You're gonna have hype energy to get to work today.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I'm gonna be at work for 10.5 hours today. Crap.
but I think I'll make an announcement soon, shortly after. I'm just waiting for Nintendo. There's something I'm asking from Nintendo, and I'm waiting for Nintendo to do it. Once Nintendo does it, then I'll be able to make the announcement. And then I think once I make that announcement, oh, it's gonna be on like Donkey Kong. That was
Yes.
corny. That was corny, yes, but I'm dead serious.
And you can't use anybody else in that quote. It has to be
No, I
Donkey Kong.
mean,
Yes.
there's nobody else that fits there. You can't say Diddy Kong. It just don't
Mm-mm.
feel right.
Oh my goodness, why is Michael Patrick saying? He's like, I think their console is not competitive right now. Nothing
Oh
more.
my
5 years from
God.
now might be different. Some might disagree. Uh,
Well,
How
if
is the
you're a
co- how
gamer
is
and
the
Hold
you're
on.
just playing
console
games just to,
six to
if you're a
one?
What I
gamer
was
and
gonna
you're playing
say,
games for
who
the fun of
cares?
it doesn't matter.
Who cares if the console will or will not com- compete
Honestly, as long as we
by
get out good games, who gives a
games?
damn? Really. The
That's all it
GameCube
should
was
be
the
about.
GameCube was considered a failure, and that GameCube was one of my most favorite systems.
Yes, it is still in the top ranks
All
as
I
far
gotta
as I
say
care.
is
Dreamcast,
that
another failure. One of the greatest systems that came out.
Dreamcast wouldn't have been a failure if Sega would have just put behind it the effort that they needed to instead of changing everything up.
Exactly, but the point is this: it's not about who's winning the console war and who's doing this. It's about what games are they producing, the software.
What games do I want to play that are there
Exactly.
that
We
I
need to
can't
stop
get
all
talking
anywhere
about
else?
game
I gotta
consoles and
say,
actual games
man,
themselves.
is that it is 3:13. This dude is still arguing with you.
Hold on.
He is
Yeah.
hardcore.
No, this is Michael Patrick. He's
Oh,
saying
okay.
something. Oh, so
All
I
right.
said this is where our points of view this is where our point of views are on the opposite side of the spectrum. Uh, the Nintendo. Hold on for a second, because I want to say something. Oops. The Nintendo. Let me see something. The Nintendo Wii U. Oh my goodness. The Nintendo Wii. Okay, what yet? Um, yet the console. The con- hmm, because why? Because
Yeah, I think Google's going to quit at some point.
Pretty much.
It's gonna die.
All right. Well,
It's going to take like 8 hours to probably process.
Let's go ahead and officially end the podcast. You guys keep chatting afterwards, but I need
Turn.
some sleep.
Okay,
I'm sure some
that's
of you
enough.
guys- So, as always, I want to thank everybody for listening. If you stuck with us for this long, thank everybody that has joined me on the podcast. And that's Cody, Zen, Shadow Fox, GVG, INU, Andre, Rashid, and of course Triforce Johnson. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Peace out, peoples.
Later.
Peace, man.
Epic.
Been real.
Epic.
Goodbye.